This is trophi.ai, an AI Rocket League coach, and it's absolutely crazy what you can do with this. If you've ever heard of ballchasing.com, it's a lot like that, but on steroids.
You can press P and a pro demo will come up, and this is what's so cool and so unique about Trophi, is that this is not seen anywhere else, and it's just a great way to kind of show you how to do a training pack without having to side by side watch a YouTube video.
And this is actually really cool. Training paths. So you basically, you know the skill trees from Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Sekiro, you know that sort of games where you have to, get skill points, use them, you unlock new skills. This is sort of very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at them exact sort of movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
Welcome everybody back to Elite Play-ins. I am joined now today by Liquid Sight. How are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. Just personally, I've had a lot of things going on, so excited. I know I missed a couple of my streams. I think it was last week. There was an illness, a few other things, so I'm happy to be here, happy to be part of the casting crew of RSC. It's always exciting to see what talent comes out of RSC. And especially EU. Everyone always knows that rsc-eu is the most popular and clearly the better RSC.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, but we kind of need to get things off a little quick today, thankfully. So we'll just run through the bracket for how things look today. We have Dexterity and Azteca today, Atlacoya versus Celeritas, and the winner of that goes against Carbo just after this series. And then later on tonight, the last series of the night, Summit and Okami will be facing to get into that upper bracket playoff spot. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm wondering how do you think tonight is gonna go, especially this series? How do you think it's gonna go?
I think it's probably going to go in the favor of Atlacoya. Historically, I think they've been a stronger team, maybe just not did so well this time, but historically they've had some strong showings. They just look, and it's really going to come down to nerves and synergy, right? If we're at the elite level, so this is mid to high tier. These are people that kind of know how to play. So I mean, this is 100 master, right? So these are peaking players. So at this point, they should really understand their positioning. The mechanics should be on point. There shouldn't be a whole lot of misses, which is unfortunate because that's always fun in the prospect tier, because there's just an absolute wild card of things that happens. So, I kind of expect this to be a little bit of a boring game, unfortunately. That's just kind of what happens with Elite. But it's always high flying and high energy, and the plays that end up happening are exciting. It's going to be interesting to see if on one team, if they have one standout player that can make the space to allow their teammates to support, or whether we're going to see a lot of mid-tier turnarounds and people running back for boosts and just giving up possession.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, however, I don't know if I'm gonna go with you. I'm debating on it because with the way the league table went, they were fairly even. The main difference is I think Atlacoya had one extra win during league play, and but the thing is, Dexterity they had a lot better goal difference because they had like a +20. Atlacoya had -4. So that just goes to show the defense isn't exactly there. So I think I'm going to go for like something. It's probably going to be close. I would say it's probably going to be about 4. I want to say 4-2 to Dexterity.
I think the bigger prediction is going to be what happens in the next game, the next series.
That's.
I think
true,
that's
yeah,
the bigger mystery.
Yeah.
Because this one's going to be close.
current
You're
one,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see anyway, because it's always interesting in, say, the elite or master tiers. There's never really much splitting the difference between the two sides. It's usually whoever's playing better on the day. So we're looking forward to see that. I believe now we have everybody into the lobby. So, what do you say we get this all underway, yeah?
I'm excited to see the first demo. Who draws first blood, right?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that as well. But as everyone is joining up their sides, good luck to both teams, and let's see just how well Elite truly is, shall we?
I believe Highlander said it the best. There can be only one.
Yeah, there can only be one. You are correct about that, as that one is a close one off the kickoff. Sammy Boy gets a great 50. The shot's on, but it does get pushed back into the corner. Silas is there, finds a shot, but it's just too far off the side. A good demo on the back line, and Sammy Boy is there for the follow-up, and they get an early lead.
So that was a first blood demo by Silas, just coming through that goaltender box there, able to collect that demo and just open it up perfectly for Drizzy, who doesn't miss on that shot. So he's batting 1,000, as they say. Drizzy on the ball once again. A nice flick. It's up high, but not really a whole lot to contend with. But QX, or Kex, or Quex, what's his name? We'll never know. Was able to drive that one home. Silas turned away. I think he thought this was going to clear out in their favor, and it's tied. That didn't take long.
It really didn't, and I'm surprised to see it. Elite's meant to be this upper echelon kind of tier, but so far, it's not looking too much better than ACAD or Prospect. Although, I say that, it'll change very quickly. Silas in his own corner. That's not the touch you would have wanted. Kex is there, finds the shot, and what a shot it is! I think there was a bump as well in the back line, and that's gonna give Atlacoya the lead extremely early off the kickoff again.
I don't think he got the bump, but he was there and ready to punish them. So they had to jump a little bit early, which just threw them completely out. You know, you said right at the beginning, it's going to be hard to tell because they're so even-keeled. And here's a perfect example of both teams just not really giving an inch or a mile here. We see a few misplays on the defensive side on both ends, just not going where they want to. Kex a little bit too far forward, and again, we're a minute 59 here, and the game hasn't even gotten anywhere.
Yeah, this is looking like it's just going to be extremely back and forth. Both these sides do not want to let up at all. They are going all out attack. It's been 4 in a minute, and make it 5. Silas off the kickoff. Yeah, this is just gonna be a very back and forth game, I can already tell.
Oh, what happened there? Just, yeah, I guess he was a little bit late to the kickoff, Alakoya, and he thought maybe he'd predict the hit and win the 50. He just completely missed the ball, and then his teammate with the follow-up just not able to get it. And there's another miss off the backboard. I think you said defense wasn't their strong suit, and I think that's coming home to roost here.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised about it, because that's you need to have a good defense. The best offense is a good defense, and so far these two sides are just going offense. They don't think defense should exist, but we'll have to see anyway, as Drizzy trying to put that one on. It's off to the side wall. The bump comes through, so Silas's last man back has to play the 50. Does very well, and Yellow Crab up immediately, trying to find Sammy in the attack. Able to get that out to Silas. Has to play it to the back wall. The bump on Strafe's going to help, but that won't. The miss flip is not going to be good for Dexterity, as that pass into the midfield. Strafe is there. Silas not able to make contact, and Alakoya take the lead.
What's our shots here? Alakoya have 5-7 shots. Sorelitas has what, 5-6 shots. So on the field, there's 13 shots. And how many saves are there? 2, 4, 5. 5 for 13 on the whole pitch.
Yeah, that's not the greatest showing now, is it?
Oh my goodness!
Well, it's another one. Make that...
What team did I vote for again? I voted for Alakoya. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's going in my favor right now. But I'm not sure they have the stamina to last the whole time. Like, this is absolutely
I don't
crazy.
think I have the stamina if this is how we're going. It has been less than 2 minutes and there are 8 goals.
I've got meetings to get to. We can't stream for 45 minutes on a single series.
You mean a single game at this rate? But Yellow Crab can take it off the ceiling, finds the pass midfield. Sammy has no burst, so they just have to back off for now. Silas able to get that one touch, which is gonna help them a lot. Able to play it off the corner. Takes the reset. We'll just take a low as no one seems to be pushing. Gets through one, finds a good demo, tries to get this one midfield, but not able to, as Drizzy's able to stop any sort of real pressure. But now Yellow Crab off the ceiling finds Sammy Boy, but Kex is able to make a great save. Silas is onto it again, tries to find Yellow Crab on the other side of the field, but Drizzy's able to cut it out. Takes control of it, finds a great catch, but not able to get past Sammy Boy this time. Yellow Crab's up immediately. They want to start this attack going again. They are 2 down with 2 minutes left. It's died down since the 3rd minute. So Dexterity need to find it quickly. Able to get that midfield, but the follow-up isn't quick enough. So Atlakoya will hold on for now. It's a great demo as well. So they're just going to have to take their time.
That last demo changed the whole pace of what that play was going to be, because Sorelitas was just ready to break out, and they had to completely slow down because the person that was supposed to catch the ball and moved in the corner was removed from the field. So they had no opportunity there. Sammy Boy just being a little bit of a pest, able to steal the boost and quickly wall dash out of there. Crab is going to make a connection with it. I don't think he's going to meet up quite with his teammate. However, Cialis is trying to play off the post, and I'm not sure if somebody needs to pay that man because he was dancing on the pole.
He was indeed, and Drizzy just... Nah, there's no touch coming through there, so Silas gets away lucky. And Dexterity, you're finding your feet once again. We'll see, can they keep that momentum at least going rather than letting it slip for Atlakoya, as that's a great dunk from Kex. Yellow Crab has to get back quickly. Not the greatest of touches. That's a great bump, but the shot is just off. So Celeritas get away with a lifeline for now. Strafe has to take that slow, finds a way past one. Will play it to the corner. Tries to get that midfield, but there's no one there to follow it up. Silas plays the 50 with Drizzy, and it does just fall back to Strafe. Dexterity needs to get out of their own half in this last 30 odd seconds, as it does eventually get cleared away. And that's a big miss. The demo on the back line as well. Shots on, and they find the equalizer. Just under 30 seconds left, and we're all tied up.
Here's what I gotta say. If this goes to overtime, any of the games go to overtime, I think it's safe to say there'll probably be short overtimes.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
What a battle between both these teams. Like, there's been a ton of mistakes on defensive side. There's been some great openings. They've done such a good job, except the only thing they haven't been able to do is just protect that back line. As Quex there in another situation was way far forward, especially in a situation where they're tied with 10 seconds left. Here's Drizzy with the last attempt. He's got a flip reset. He's able to get it, but not behind Crab. Oh boy.
Oh my word.
Oh boy.
That one's gonna hurt. That one is going to hurt.
Oh.
Big time. It finds a way into the midfield, and Strafe is just waiting. He wanted that, and he's able to give out Lakoya the first game at the literal last second. That game is outrageous. You can see there, 700 for Silas, 600 for Sammy, 620 for Kex, 675 for Strafe. And Drizzy as well, nearly 500. The Yellow Crab, the only player with less than 250 points. That is outrageous.
The run on the scoreboard. Is somebody betting an over-under on how many goals are going to be scored in this series? This is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen even a low-level tier game go like that. That was, I mean, it was fantastic to be part of, but that was crazy. I believe our production manager in a chat here was also very confused as to what was going on, because no one could really believe what was happening. That was definitely a stand-up of Titans between two equally matched teams, just unfortunately with the same flaws. Those first 5 or 6 goals, it felt like they were just defensive plays, just missed times off the back post, the back wall, and just dropped perfectly down in front for the other teammate to just pick up and score. It felt like, and then there was the kickoff goal that was strange. There was a lot of strange. So hopefully they've taken this minute, they've reset, they've collected themselves and gone, okay, we can do better. Both teams. Because honestly, still, I have no idea what's going to happen. I know I voted for Alakoya, but I still don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, no, that was an outrageous first game, but with game 2 underway, will it be more of the same? Or can we finally just calm down a little bit? That would be quite nice, because that was just outrageous. 6-5 in the first game. Yeah, you have to hope that it will calm down eventually. His Kex has to try push that to the back wall. Strafe's already up to try and keep the pressure. That's not gonna be helpful. Sammy boy, that's not the touch you would have wanted. Drizzy was too awkward. The pass out to Strafe. Silas, that's a great save coming through. And now Atlakoya have to restart their attack. Silas gets a great 50. Sammy boy's trying to chase it down, but Kex is able to get it past him. Yellow Crab off the sidewall, gets one touch. That's a great catch coming through. Gets past Silas, but does get bumped on the way. And that demo in the back line is going to make it a bit more awkward for Solaritas for now. The shot was on. Drizzy gets a great save. The bang forward. Sammy boy able to get control of it for now. And we're just back into the midfield for now.
What a difference in between the two games. Here we are, almost a minute and a half in, and clearly, I was about to say no goals been scored. So that's my bad, everyone. I'm sorry. I was about to make a point about how no goal had been scored and how this was different than the last game, but I didn't read the script. It said there was a goal coming up, so I got a little ahead of myself. I apologize. Perhaps I should have said that a little bit sooner. That was very interesting play there. I watched Quex turn around and try and attack. That was very strange to see him all the way into the Well, there's the tie. I guess we're caught up. So the minute and a half was the warm-up. That was the warm-up. Yellow Crab just chased down Strafe, and Cialis made no mistake about sinking that one. I mean, I think he went a little bit high with that flick, as attempting fate with the crossbar. But again, made no mistake. Oh, there was an interesting play off that kickoff as both Crab connected with that ball. He missed in the midfield. Strafe and his teammate trying to figure out a few things. As here we see Cialis up, not able to make a play of it. He's got to play it off its backboard. Or sorry, he's in the, I got mixed up. I was in the wrong end here. Crab slows it down here. He's waiting for Strafe. Unfortunately, Drizzy was able to collect it. He's going to throw it down in the midfield. Quex got bumped. Cialis wanted to hit that a little bit harder. His teammate is going to try and move it down the field. Gets a flip reset and able to score one more for Cerealitas. Oh, sorry, I keep messing up this team's name. Please help me out here, Zeke.
It's Celeritas.
Celeritas, like celery. It's like celery
Yes.
with a tat
And
in.
it's Silas.
Celeritas. No mas. Celeritas.
And it's also Silas, not I don't even want
Not Cialis? Not the drug?
Silas.
We're not sponsored by Cialis? Talk to
No,
me.
I don't think so. But anyways, let's get on to the gameplay, shall we? Maybe a bit smart. Sammy Boy gets a great 50s, it gets cleared out. Silas is already up, able to get a touch off to the side wall. Will stay with it, even with the no boost. Sammy Boy has to turn for it. Gets past one, will try follow it up, does well past the second. Can't beat out Strafe though, so Dexterity don't have too much pressure right now. They are able to stay in the lead, but if they want to keep it, they're gonna need to find some sort of cushion. And Sammy Boy, that's a great save from Gex. Yellow Crab's there, but another amazing stop coming through, this time from Drizzy, the sniper. They aren't letting them get that cushion. They want to make sure Dexterity know that this is not going to be one they get for free.
The bump play is happening there and just throwing Silas out. He was able to get that beautiful flick. Unfortunately, his teammate not there to follow up. Drizzy had to just dodge that demo, and Silas able to collect the ball. Sammy Boy, I think a little bit of a missed touch there. Here's a good opportunity as Silas collected that perfectly. Here we have a flip reset and air dribble opportunity. He opts to unfortunately take it off the post and hoping his teammate can collect it. Another misplay by Sammy Boy. I think that's two kind of key moments where Sammy is missed. He makes a nice adjustment there. Yellow Crab not able to collect it though. Silas has got low boost. Sammy Boy has to rush to get to that ball. He's up first. He gets bumped out of the way by Quex, and Yellow Crab is able to connect on that time. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but the time is winding down, and Alakoya really has to make a play here. And it's not been looking good for them, as I just about bit my tongue on that one because it looked like it was dangerously close to the goal line.
Yeah, but Silas is immediately up for that again, able to beat out Strafe. Drizzy has to go quickly, otherwise that could have spelled a bit more danger. Yellow Crab just pops it to the side. Kex is there to the corner. Silas isn't able to beat out one, but that was a save from Kex himself, which is unfortunate for Azteca, as he is going to meet this in the midfield. It's a good 50 from both players of Dexterity. Sammy Boy's waiting. It's a good touch, but with that ball just needing to drop to tie this series, Celeritas will just let it drop. And we are into a tied 1-1 series. We're going to have to see if whether or not that will have a difference again, considering that went from 6-5 to 2-1.
They're calibrating. They're calibrating. You know, 6-5, way too much. 2-1, okay, maybe it's too low. So maybe we'll get somewhere in a 3-2 sort of scenario, maybe a 4-2 in the next game. That might be more reasonable. I think they're kind of calibrating. But what a difference that was. I don't know what that first game was. if they were just, anything you can do, I can do better. So every time there was a goal, there was a response immediately. This time there was a dance, there was a tango, there was some hitting and going back and forth, and there's a save finally. There's actually saves on the scoreboard this time. So this was far more interesting to watch as opposed to just a slap fest. I'm hoping to see a little bit more from Drizzy. He was standing out. Sammy kind of missed a few plays at the last moment. However, Cellaritas were winning. So I don't know if you noticed that, but I saw some of the urgency started coming up from Alakoya in those last few minutes. So let's see if the team that scores first kind of sits back on their heels and starts playing defensively and waits for the other team to come to them, or if they're just going to keep the pressure on. I think that's a difference maker in this kind of series.
Yeah, it definitely is, but Alakoya trying to start off early off the kickoff. Silas has to pop it high to stop out Strafe from getting that midfield. Sammy Boy misreads it, but that's okay considering Drizzy didn't decide to dive just then. It's a good touch into the midfield, but Silas has to play the 50 instead. Drizzy's on immediately, picks up that corner boost as well, which is going to make things awkward for Dexterity. Kex is up onto the sidewall, tries to find a second touch, a great bump. Two great bumps, the shot's on, but it's not good enough. It won't be able to find the target this time, so Kex has to be back, able to take it from his back wall, gets past Silas and Sammy Boy. Yellow Crab pushing up a bit too far, strafe into the corner, tries to get a midfield, but Silas will cut it out for now. Fakes out Kex very well to the pass for Yellow Crab, but bounces too high, so Sammy Boy's just gonna have to meet that one in the midfield. Strafe gets it cleared. Drizzy trying to find the redirect, leaves it for Strafe instead. Silas gets a great 50. It's back in the midfield. Is the shot on? Silas gets it away once again. And Dexterity hang on for now.
Drizzy had to make that play there. He's able to collect the boost, and has to try and make something out of this. Sammy Boy trying to make me eat my own words. I'm chewing here. I'm having trouble. Help me. I'm having a stroke. The name's Bond. Boy, that was an interesting play though, as Crab just gets a light touch, able to beat that, but Drizzy was already up. He had already committed to. I think he didn't know that his teammate was coming in for a challenge to try and make the play. I think he was low on boost as well. I got to say that was a great first goal, and here we see a minute 30 in. Much different gameplay than that first game. Sure, why not? Throw another one in there. I think I said 4-2 in this series, so we got at least one of those things right. What a banger shot of Silas. Just getting that just under the crossbar. One of the hardest shots to do, because you go any higher, it's coming away, and you go any lower, and you got a good opportunity of the defending team to collect that.
Yeah, but Alakoya, they're 2 down now. 3 minutes left on the clock. Still a lot of time, but gonna need to make something happen. They've had equal shots, but haven't made them count just as much. Yellow Crab able to get that one away for now. Sammy Boy is just gonna give it back to him. There's a demo onto Silas. It's a good 50 from Sammy. Yellow Crab's waiting, able to find one, will take it up high, tries to get past two, but the double commit's not gonna help out Drizzy right now. The fake comes through, the shot's on, but Drizzy able to play it into the corner, keeps it away from Dexterity's danger zone for now, as Sammy Boy is there again. Yellow Crab immediately up, tries to play 50, but doesn't go in his favor. Silas has to get that to the sidewall. Kex was waiting. Strafe pops it up high. Silas can take from the back wall. Goes high. Gets cut out by Kex immediately. And the pressure is mounting for Atlakoya. You need to find something quickly, but that's not gonna help. Sammy Boy able to make it count when it mattered. And they go up once more. Kex not able to find a touch, and Sammy Boy off the post finds the read. And now it's unfortunate for Atlakoya. They need to find something quickly.
I have to say that Cellarita's pressure in this game is much, much different. I noticed that when they're on the ball and they're making plays, there's good pressure, there's good touches, which has been very, very stark contrast to Alakoya, who I'm still rooting for, but at this point they've got a goose egg on the field, and they've got to make a bit of a play here. Yellow Crab tried to get it out of the corner here as Drizzy's making a play for the infield. He's trying to get one more touch to carry it all the way across, going complete east-west. And he's going to take Silas with him, who had full boost, and there was a missed shot by Kex. He wasn't able to get all the way across because that came with some steam. As we see Strife, he's up, but Savyboy able to get that, collect that ball, and quickly turn it back upfield. Quex is going to make a play over Silas. Yellow Crab, very calm, dodged that demo expertly and able to get the flick off. Savyboy is up. I think it's going to get one, maybe two more touches as his teammate tries to move the defense off the line. Kex makes it into the midfield. Drizzy with a good hard shot, and that was one to beat the last defender of Celeritas as they're on the board. They've got a little bit of, they got a lot of game to play here. It's still a long minute, but I think the time is starting to wane on them. 4-2. I believe I said 4-2 before this game started. So if Celeritas wins this 4-2, I'm sorry, chat. I just know more. I've got an inside source.
Well, firstly, you predicted Alakoya. Secondly,
I did.
Secondly, Strafe has helped your prediction right now. They've brought back some sort of hope. He is able to find a way to turn that one in. But it's not looking good so far. There's 48 seconds. There is still time, but with dexterity and putting danger like that on, that's not going to help. They find a way to bring that lead back to 2. And yeah, the Yellow Crab is just absolutely done in at Alakoya this time.
Guys, it's 4-2.
Oh, it is.
It's 4-2, guys. What is happening with this series, Zeke?
Yeah, I don't know. They really... The funny thing is as well, before this game, I'm pretty sure you said it would end up being a 4-2 scoreline. Never mind, we're gonna say it's 5-2.
Okay, I got
But
it.
still.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, dexterity. This is happily going to be their second game under their belt. Alakoya, don't think there's much hope for you now for the rest of this game, but you can take these last few seconds, try and figure out what's going wrong, and see whether or not you should do something about it. That is a great play coming through from Dexterity, Sammy Boy, and the Yellow Crab team pinching that one into the bar down, and they find a way to make this lead a 4-goal lead.
I mean, this is definitely a foregone conclusion for Alakoya. I think they're not showing as strong as Celeritas, but still can't count them out because they're still able to pull off things like that. A very quick play, a good response here, I think, after that last play. They're very physical. I love that about Alakoya. I just wish their physicality worked in their favor. It hasn't in this game, and it hasn't in the last game in terms of giving them more goal opportunities. But clearly, this is something. Oh, are they going to get another one here? No, I don't think so.
I was about to say hardly. I was about to be like, there's no way they find a way back. But they didn't. I was correct in thinking that way. And Celeritas take game 3. So are now 2-1 up in the series. I don't know. It depends. Are you thinking Alakoya is gonna pull out a timeout or no?
I mean, if I was Alakoya, these are do or die series. So I would take a moment, figure yourself out, maybe have a hoorah, grab some iron brew, whatever it is, right? But I think if I were them, I would do that. I would take this opportunity. I'd run the clock as far down as you can, get as much time, and just try to figure out, is there a way for us to change our gameplay? I don't think there's a whole lot they need to change. It's just 100% coming down to defensive plays. There wasn't too many double commits. It's surprising to me, when I see that scoreboard, you know, Sammy Boy had 735 points, a big presence, but I keep feeling that Silas is the bigger presence more often than not. So kind of an unsung hero. I feel like he's making the space, but Yellow Crab and his teammate Sammy Boy just sinking the goals. So clearly not calling the timeout. They're going the distance here. So as we're stepping into game 4 now, Tazik?
Indeed, we are indeed. Game 4 underway. Utopia Coliseum, one of the better maps in my eyes, and the Yellow Crab's gonna try start it off quickly for Dexterity, and he does so very well. 6 seconds in, off to the sidewall, fakes the original touch, beats out Kex, and is able to turn it off the bar. And that's a great sign for Dexterity.
I mean, Sammy Boy was going to get that if Crab wasn't able to get that last touch anyways. So I think what's showing up here is perhaps a better synergy, just some of the team plays a little bit stronger from Celeritas. And not so much a question of mechanics or gameplay or playability. It's just 100% boiling down to just being able to be where the teammates are. And speaking of where someone is, I think Silas is off the field for a couple seconds as he got put in the corner with that monstrous and angry demo.
Yeah, and I'm not that surprised, to be honest. Dexterity are looking so well right now. At Lakoya, they kind of seem a bit nervous, to be honest, as Sammy Boy gets that one cleared out. It's off the ceiling, Strafe finds one touch. Yellow Crab's gonna leave this one, so Silas just gonna back off for now. Sammy Boy able to make that challenge count off the back wall, but does eventually get cleared away from Kex. It's a good 50 as well from Drizzy, so Yellow Crab has to quickly turn on it. Sammy Boy's not gonna get that touch. Strafe was already on it. The shot just narrowly wide. Kex has to play the 50. It's off the corner. A great pop from Silas, but with no one there, it's not going to be too great for them. It's off to the corner. Sammy Boy will take control of this. Able to stay with it for now. Plays the 50 in incredibly well. Yellow Crab's on it immediately. Flicks it forward. Tries to start some sort of pressure, but it will die down. Silas is able to get that past Drizzy. Kex is already into the corner waiting. Finds a great demo on Sammy Boy, as there was a trade through as well on Silas. Silas is dead again. And now Yellow Crab has to go with Sammy Boy. It's into the corner. That's a great save from Kex. And Atla Koya stay alive for now.
I don't know how that was just slowly squeaking across the goal line. I don't think anyone expected it to come out like that. As Kex is trying to play a defensive line here, Strafe and his teammate. What happened here? What happened there? I think Drizzy thought that, Strafe and Drizzy was definitely going to get that. So Quex went off to the corner, I think, to collect boost. I thought he was down and away because he's got full boost, but the ball's in the back of his net. He didn't want to turn around, just completely committed. I guess at that point in time, you've got to trust in your teammate. But unfortunately, that didn't go the way they wanted. And again, Celeritas runs away with another goal. So those are the small defensive decisions, I think, that are costing them a lot. There's a missed touch there by Drizzy as he ran out of boost, but Sammy Boy is on the prowl here. He was trying to collect the demo as he came through as well. Not able to do that as Quex gets challenged quickly here. Strafe wants to get it high, wants to collect it one more time. He's on top of the ball, not where he wants to be. And Silas with the hard shot. Silas in the exact perfect position. No chance for that last remaining defender. And Atlakoya is on the ropes here. It is not looking good for them.
Yeah, they're not looking good. I know you're mentioning about the little defensive mistakes for Azteca, but Dexterity have just looked like the better side as Sammy Boy trying to put the pressure on again. Kex able to get that one away for now. Silas pops it up high. Strafe finds one touch. Will play the 50 as well. Kex able to bang that one forward. It might just drop its way in, but Not this time, it was slightly too high. That one gonna get popped forward. Kex is there in the midfield waiting. Not able to find another touch, but Drizzy is. Sammy Boy, a great save off to the back wall, and Silas can get that away, starting maybe a dexterity turn for pressure again, as Strafe not able to beat out Silas. That one's played into the midfield. Sammy Boy will fake the challenge originally, leaves it then for Silas. Has to play a 50. Strafe gets beat out. Sammy Boy's there, finds a read, but it's just not on target, so Drizzy's able to get this one away for now.
So I think it's coming down to positioning and support. Just absolute, a lot better positioning and support by Celeritas. They're able to find each other, even with the small touches. They're in the right place at the right time. And I think maybe it's Alakoya, they're feeling down. They're pushing up quite high. But whatever the reason is, you could definitely see where the difference is starting to be here. Celeritas is much stronger in supporting their teammates, and just whether that's being the right distance, the right speed of the play, it is very, very strong in the way in the favor of Celeritas as they try and sink another one to make this 5-0 and just make it a little bit more of a statement piece here. As I think this game, with 34 seconds, is kind of in the bag here. Sammy Boy is up. He doesn't have a whole lot of boost. He's trying to win that here. But Silas is back. He's able to get a nice touch, a double touch off the backboard. There was a misplay, 2 misplays by Alakoya, and I think that just about summarizes how this this series has really gone for them.
Yeah, it has, and it's just unfortunate so far, but surely you take your time out now, because so much is going wrong and you need to figure it out quickly. You should have took it before this game, realistically, but if you don't figure something out, you're gonna get 4-1, to be honest. That's a great shot from Sammy, oh my word. How has he got to that then? Finds the reset on the first touch just about. Hasn't hit the ground there, but yeah, at Lakoya, need to figure something out.
Yeah, it's 100%. I think Celeritas is very confident and strong on the ball. They're able to make a lot of those mechanical plays, and they're also quite smart. They understand when they've thrown the ball high that it's going to be collected by their teammate. This is what I'm talking about, the support. And the teammate that's just thrown the ball high is now screaming downfield to try and collect a bump, just putting that pressure on Alakoya. And Alakoya has not figured out how to deal with that. The defensive mistakes that we saw in the first game from both teams have not been the same. It's not been the same. It's absolutely not been the same. It's 100% more Celeritas just being in sync with the speed of the play and being in the right position. And
I'm confused. At Lakoya haven't called their timeout. They do realize it's 3-1. Or they do realize they have a timeout.
YOLO, I guess. Send it.
That is crazy.
They got places to be too.
That's ridiculous. You know what? I respect it, but at the same time, I think you're delusional if you think you can get away with that. But hey,
all right. Hold on. Let me play a scenario with you. Tzazik, have you ever played ranked?
Yes.
And then you've lost like 4 or 5 games in a row, and you went, no, let's go one more. This will change. I gotta go one more.
See, the thing is, usually I kind of stop after about 3 in a row. If it's happening in a row, I'm done. I'm not continuing. But hey, so far it's working for Atlakoya. They found a goal quickly. Are we gonna find ourselves back in the game 1 where Atlakoya won? Just, it's gonna be a constant shootout, maybe? As we see Kex trying to be a bit of a nuisance on the back line. Strafe's able to get that one over to Drizzy. The shot hits off the post. Kex is there waiting. The double commit from Dexterity is not going to be good. But Sammy Boy is able to play that back. It's not looking good, though. That is a bit shaky for Dexterity. You guys good?
You know, we never know how these games are going to go. As much as we like to think that we're paid off, it's always a question of what's really going to happen. As we see Crab able to get that touch off his rear bumper and move it forward. There's a demo on the play. I hope they have figured out Adlakoya. That squeaks out into the midfield. He's going for a pass, not able to connect quite on target. As Quex opts to make a play and collected himself, Silas I don't know if he was going for a pinch there. I thought he was going for a pinch, and then it just didn't move at all. Sammy Boy has been deadly. Decides not to go up for that ball smartly, gets back into second position, and gets up quickly for a defensive play as Quex is on the ball. It's on the goal line here as Drizzy is making a play, trying to sink it down. Strafe! 3 goals.
What is happening? Dexterity, what has happened between the last game and this game, where you just won 5-0, might I add, and now you are down by 3 in less than a minute and a half? What happened? This is gonna be one of the biggest confusion stories I will ever have. But they do have control now. They're trying to start their own pressure. Strafe has to play that to the sidewall. Sammy Boy is already onto it. Kex not able to get it out of his own half for now. Drizzy's gonna help him. It's a good touch out to Yellow Crab. Silas is there for the shot, and bang! That is 1 back for Dexterity. And we'll have to see, can they keep it going?
Strafe got bumped. Both of his teammates also got bumped, I believe. They were nowhere near the net. And I mean, a great shot by Celeritas there. It's been an absolute joy to watch every one of these shots go in, as there was a tough defensive play just now. Celeritas tries to get that play a little bit more downfield. Strafe is able to collect that quite easily. He opts to throw it way down, hoping that perhaps Drizzy is going to make a play out of it, as Yellow Crab has to compete against Kex. Kex has been quite dangerous, didn't quite get the corner boost, wasn't ready a few seconds too early here as Drizzy turns around and Silas, slow with the ball, gets a flick. Opts to let Drizzy take it off his bonnet for that one. And here we're seeing a little bit of mayhem play out here as Silas, I think he dove for that. No, he didn't. He's up very quickly for that. He's able to move it downfield. Crab is trying to connect with him. Not the shot that he wanted. I think that was a little bit low. At least it had a lot of speed on it, but not the one he wanted. Strafe, he's got both of his teammates in the midfield. They were hungry to add another goal because Alakoya at this point really need to make a difference because they're down and this is do or die.
Yeah, and they're doing well so far, but Yellow Crab's going to keep the pressure on for Dexterity. Kex is able to find 1 touch out. Leaves it then for Drizzy, finds a second, but Silas is able to get it away, finds a great 50, well, not the greatest 50, I say, but Kex keeps it in the midfield. Yellow Crab's there waiting, has to take it low, that's a bit risky, but they get away for now. Silas finds a way past 1, but Kex is on it yet again. It's a good touch from Sammy Boy. We'll just get this one into the Atlakoya half for the first time in a little bit. As Silas bangs that one long. Yellow Crab trying to find some bumps and demos. Gets down low, but Strafe able to push it away for now. Sammy Boy gets a great 50. Strafe gets that one back into the midfield. Silas bangs it out. Sammy Boy, a great catch with a flick. Kex, a great save into the corner. And Dexterity just can't find their way back into this match.
That was a lot better save than I think people give that credit for because there was a lot of pressure being applied to them by that first man just trying to bump and be that nuisance. So Kex really had to be sure of timing that last jump in order to make that play. There's a little bit of a midfield. I don't think Strafe saw that attack coming as Crab is on the defense. He's on the ball. He's got boost, no problem. But the only thing that's against them at this point is 20 seconds are on the clock and they're down by 2. So while I agree that that was a smart play, it's unfortunate that time is against you on this one. Kex smartly just has to dodge and play around. He doesn't have to do anything but kill time. And I think they've succeeded in this scenario of coming back from an absolute stomping. I think it was a 3 in a row that they lost. Or sorry, 2 in a row that they lost. And Alakoya takes one for the road. Another 0-second goal, but this time in the way of Alakoya.
You were right the first time they've lost. They had lost 3 in a row. And I just want to point out, they only won their first game by 1 goal, right?
Yeah.
Then they lost 2-1. Then they lost 6-2. Then they lost 5-0. And I've just came out and thrashed them on the back end. What has happened? Like, this series has been one of the most confusing series I think I've ever watched. Because we've gone from a shootout to nothing to a shootout for one team twice, and then the team that got shot out twice has just came back out of nowhere. What is happening?
Did the team that scores first in this series always win?
No.
Because Alakoya scored first in this game.
I'm pretty sure they scored first in that 6-2 in game 2.
Oh, that's true.
Or game
that's
3,
true.
sorry.
All right, so that's not something we can bank on either. I definitely saw that Cellerita's support just disintegrated in that one. There wasn't the same thing. I saw glimpses of it in a couple attacks where that scenario that I talk about, where the first man throws the ball up, the second man is on the ball with control, and that first man now starts becoming that nuisance, putting the pressure on the defenders, either causing them to jump early or to get absolutely smashed out of the way. So that seemed to work for Celeritas. Alakoya, on the other hand, was able to win that one just eloquently. So here's another game that is hopefully going to go in their favor, because clearly we want more games to cast? Question mark?
I do not. I want this to be done to make my prediction correct.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Because then it'll be spot on. The double commit there from Dexterity though, Sammy Boy, that's a great touch. Tried to redirect that one alone, but Silas has to take it from his own half. Is able to go up high. We'll try to go for the bump on Strafe, but not able to find it this time. Yellow Crab's already on to the ball waiting. Finds control. Great 50 as well. Finds its way over to Silas, who picks up that midfield boost. Drizzy has to take this one high. Tries to get over Silas, but he's not going to let that one happen just yet. Sammy Boy, a great touch. Kex does avoid the bump, thankfully for Azteca, as Silas will pop that one just in front. It was a bit of a heavy touch, so Sammy Boy has to race back, find the pop high, and Drizzy up to the sky. Will bang that one down low. Silas, that's not one you're going to want to watch back. And Azteca find themselves ahead on Neo Tokyo to try and bring us to that infamous Champions Field.
Champions Field, yeah. I wasn't sure how much this help you out there. I was like, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why that left me.
Oh boy.
Oh. What is happening?
Well, Drizzy got the bump there, and then Strafe got the bump there, and Kex just had to slam it between the pipes. So, yeah. It was a well played scenario. I don't know if is the stream still working?
Oh, Silas! That is disgusting. Immediately turns on that clear from Crab. Or wait, no, wait. Why did I say Silas? I thought that's.
I don't know. That's why I was curious.
Oh, it's been a rough day.
The stream died on Twitch, but it's just on my end, which is fantastic. As we see there, another opportunity as Quex has to make a very risky save backwards. He's thanked for it with a demo, and Strafe takes that 50-50. It's high. which gives Drizzy an opportunity. He gets up there quite high, not able to get to the ceiling, as we've seen Zen so many times do, which Zen is not on this team, but that's okay. As Quex takes it down the field, he wants to get under it one more time, and Silas was able to collect that. Drizzy, I think, got the touch, but unfortunately was removed from the field. Sammy Boy smartly is able to dodge that attack. Drizzy is up. Here we're seeing some pressure again. Drizzy's going to try and slam it down a little too hard. Didn't get the waterfall that we wanted, and Silas is up to try and control it out of his corner. He's got 0 boost, so this is looking a little bit dangerous for Celeritas, but don't count them out here. As Quex meets up with his teammate, Strafe, he's got no boost. Same with Drizzy, as they are trying to get on the attack here. Yellow Crab is trying to meet it over to his teammate, who collects it quite keenly, and Strafe throws it back into the middle. There's nobody there. It's a little bit of a dangerous situation, as they're able to get that one away quite easily.
Yeah, Strafe having to launch that one forward. Crab
Uh-oh.
hitting it straight into Sammy Boy, so that's not going to be too helpful. Silas, though, can't get past Kex this time, as Sammy Boy has to be up quickly, able to push that into the corner. It's a good touch from Yellow Crab, who did grab that boost as well. Same with Silas, able to find that corner boost just about, as Drizzy able to cut out the pass. The redirect is on, but Silas will meet it, as it was a bit of a slower shot. Drizzy able to take out Silas from the play. Strafe taking it back to his corner. Has a good bit of boost left, but that isn't what you want to see if you're a Dexterity fan. Sammy Boy able to play that one quickly, but Strafe takes it into the corner. Silas, the shot's on. Strafe, a great save. Sammy Boy, the shot again. It's into the bar from Kex, as it gets played back into the midfield. Kex able to follow it up. Silas is there waiting. Has to play the touch. Can't grab the boost, so Yellow Crab will have to take it away from Strafe. Sammy Boy able to get that cleared out, but Kex was in the midfield waiting. Silas bangs it long. Drizzy finds one. Just under a minute left. And Dexterity need to find one quickly if they want to end it now, as Silas having to play it smartly, play it slow. Sammy Boy able to get past one. Yellow Crab's already there waiting, pops it up to the back wall, and it's just cleared away for Azteca. The second touch not on target, so Yellow Crab takes it from his corner, able to get past one, tries to find the pass midfield, not able to. Sammy Boy's gonna launch down onto it, tries to get the pinch, but Drizzy is gonna take it from his back wall. Silas, no touch. Kex is able to bang it along field. Sammy Boy gets it cleared away. 10 seconds counting down. Dexterity are going to be meeting up with Champions Field if they don't find something now. Drizzy gets the touch to stop them. Silas keeps it into the midfield. Tries to get one extra touch. Kex gets it downfield. And there's no touch coming through there. We find ourselves going to Game 7. Going to Champions Field. And that's not what you want to see for Dexterity.
No, I mean, Celeritas, they were on quite a bit of a tear there, especially game 2, 3, 4. It seemed like they couldn't be stopped. And here, Alakoya, without the timeout, mind you, was able to collect themselves and turn this series around. I was definitely one, even though I was rooting for them, they have turned this one around and have brought this one back from the brink. And it's all going to come down to, I think this is going to come down to who scores first. I honestly do, because I think that's going to set the tone of what's going to happen. The defensive mistakes have all but disappeared. The offensive synchronization of Celeritas has all but disappeared. So this is really playing into Atlakoya's game style. So if Celeritas is able to find themselves in the team plays again, they're going to win this. If Atlakoya can find
The funny thing is too, Celeritas haven't taken their timeout either.
That's fair. That's fair.
What is going on?
If you take the timeout, then the other team gets a timeout too, right?
Dude, these teams know they have a timeout. Like,
somebody needs to coach them a little bit better.
This is ridiculous. As Dexterity immediately on the counter, by the way. From that kickoff, Crab tries to get that midfield for Sammy. The shot's on to the bar. Sammy's there for the follow-up. Silas able to turn it in eventually. And Dexterity find their lead early on. And I swear to God, if they end up winning without taking their timeout like Azteca have done, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Well, isn't one of our sponsors a coach? Maybe Celeritas should have, or even Alacoya should have paid attention to their AI coach. Oh, there's an opportunity. Oh, what a great 50 by Kex. Is able to come out and meet that ball. And there's a long bomb, just enough. I think Drizzy stole that. I think that was going in. As Drizzy threw that long bomb. Who's awarded? Oh, Drizzy was awarded with it. Oh, it was Sammy Boy. Sammy Boy was trying to save it. Not Drizzy that was trying to score it. Drizzy already did score it, and Sammy was not able to save it. So this is going to turn out, are we going to get the shooting match that we did from game 1? Are we going to get this different mix? I'm not really seeing, again, those defensive hiccups, but I'm certainly seeing missed touches.
Yeah, definitely. Both sides not looking their brightest anyway, that's for sure. Oh my God, that pass is disgusting, Silas. And Crab's able to follow it up. They regain their lead. That pass is disgusting, just cuts the lines of the defense. And yeah, that's something you just love to see in this game.
That whole play was on Drizzy's shoulder. He didn't get the touch he wanted, and instead of cycling out, he turned back towards the ball, collided with his teammate, and I mean, heads up play for Celeritas to find each other and just make the goal. So there's a bit of a chip on their shoulder as Drizzy has removed the chip, and we're getting closer to that shooting match.
I think we may already have it, to be honest. Yeah, this is gonna be outrageous if we get another like bloody 5-5 type of game. So we'll have to see.
Full circle.
Yeah, we actually
First game is just like the
last
game.
Oh my God, it's happening! It's actually happening! 5 in a minute 15! Not even a minute 15! Oh my God.
Here's what's gonna happen. Everyone's gonna go play ones after this. Although, sorry, the losing team's gonna go play ones. But I mean, their season's over. But honestly, this has been the first game in this game is going to be a game of ones. Oh, here's just a gift. Oh, very, very unfortunate by Sammy Boy. He just skyrocketed that flick. He wanted a little bit lower as Drizzy is making up for his, well, he already made up. He got the goal. Never mind. I'm sorry, Drizzy. I love you, buddy. You're doing great out there. As we see Sammy Boy's going to kick this out into the middle here. I don't think his teammates knew it was going to happen, but I certainly did. Silas is going to make a play off his backboard as boost was collected from their end, and I think Alacoya is trying to make a very, very strong attack here as they're down by 1 goal. There's a double commit that we saw in the first couple games, and this is a scenario where they're in trouble.
Oh my, yep. It's 4-2 with just under 2 minutes, or sorry, just over 2 minutes gone technically. And Sammy Boy, a great shot to get past Drizzy this time. And I just wanna point out one of our viewers. They've been counting how many goals have happened so far. Victor Vinder, thank you. It's been 40, well, at the time before that goal, 41 goals so far this series. That is outrageous.
Another one.
That is, it's 43 now. What the hell?
Are we making RSC history?
What is going on? Why is it this crazy?
Somebody needs to call in a game manager and put a stop to this absolute madness. It is 3-4. Now, Alacoya did score the first goal. They're certainly not gonna score the last one.
It's 44. There have been 44 goals in this series so far. There's still half of this game 7 left. What?
Chat, someone help Zeke.
I'm losing my mind. We need 5 goals for this to have had 7 goals per game. Just to point that out. I don't think it's gonna happen, but at this point, who knows? Because it very well could.
Damn, he went up real quick to try and meet that. Coming off the roof there, Silas wants to get a cross over to his teammate. Never mind. Oh my goodness, there was a save. Not something we've seen in this game is strong saves, and that one was halfway in. But as we know, halfway only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It's got to be all the way. As Quex has got low boost, he's got to throw it away really quick, and Celeritas is going to make no mistakes to collecting that ball. What happened there? Strife just about got another one. We almost ended up with 5-4, and Tazik is going to have an aneurysm if we get upwards to 50 goals, gentlemen.
Oh, I am. You are not wrong. I'm already having one. I'm gonna be so honest. But Kex, the pop shot's on, but it's a great save from Sammy and Silas, the double commit. Silas trying to push forward, make things awkward, but Strafe can get away, finds a reset, Drizzy into the corner. We'll just pop it back out for Kex, who is able to beat out the defenders for now. Silas doing well to get that one out. Strafe able to push it back into the dexterity half. Silas is there to pop up high. Krabs, I don't think, was expecting that, as Drizzy takes one. Sammy Boy able to cut it out, but that's a shot on from Strafe. Yellow Crab able to play it into the corner. Tries to follow it up. No touch though this time, as it does eventually get cleared away by Silas. It's off to the corner. Sammy Boy plays it midfield. Yellow Crab was there, but Drizzy able to play it around him. Strafe, the pass down to Kex, but the shot isn't able to be found. And with just over 30 seconds left, both sides tied up, we could be seeing our first overtime, which is in Game 7.
No, 0 second goal. It's going to be a 0 second goal again, just to round it out.
There's been 3 0-second goals already.
One that meant something.
Yeah, one that actually meant something, but there's been 3 altogether. If there's another one, I swear, that actually could be dangerous as well. Okay, Sammy Boy pops it back in the midfield.
Oh boy!
The save from Strafe just about, and now Aztec have the chance to go on the counter attack, but Yellow Crab able to stop it. This time we have our first overtime of the series of the day, and it's in Game 7.
So this whole series is going to be determined by 1 goal. Now, I joked, I think somewhere around halfway through Game 1, or maybe it was half the goals through Game 1, that this overtime would be quick. And it almost was.
I don't know if it will be anymore.
I had to hold my breath there because that was a hell of a shot that was coming, and boy, did he get right in front of it. Again, by Drizzy getting those defensive plays. He's got 0 boost, though. He's not able to get that bump on Silas, who's up all the way. Sammy Boy didn't get it the way he wanted to. Crab tried to support him, as we've seen Celeritas just about celebrate a victory there. I am holding my breath on almost all of these shots. Here's an infield pass. It's not the way they want it. Cut!
Oh my
With the game winner!
How? Azteca find... I don't know how they've done that. But you know what? Fair play. They are at La Coya, will face Carbo now in about maybe 10 minutes, if even. But wow, that is ridiculous. That is a stupid series. 40, what was it? 46? No, 45. Sorry, 45 goal. Wait, 45, 46, 45.
Somewhere in between there. Clearly more than there should have been. Let's just summate it.
This is elite, by the way. Just to point out, everybody, this is elite. I feel like this should be ACAD with the amount of goals scored. But, you know what? Fair play to Azteca. They take
Drizzy's got to
the
get
series.
MVP. Drizzy's got to have MVP on this one.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he is the series MVP. But take a look at the series. Oh, well, our production's a little dead, so we don't know right now. But either way, yeah, congratulations, Azteca. That was outrageous.
I know there was a lot of things going on. You were going through a lot of emotions. I think we all were watching that series. I don't know if you watched it, but when the face cam came out with that last goal scored by Kex, it showed Strafe and just absolute joy and just a relief, a sigh of relief being able to battle back. It was actually quite comforting to see how happy that gentleman was to win that series. But you have to realize, in case people are new to this is a gauntlet. This is just the first series. They now have to face the next team. There is no break for them. The only way they get a break is if they lose, and their whole series is over.
Yeah, that it's gonna be crazy. But with all that being said, thank you for joining me for this series. It was ridiculous. Hopefully the next one can live up to the same expectation. And thank you all so much for watching, guys. Grab a snack, grab a drink. We'll be right back.
Cheers.
themselves in this position in the first place, will they still have the stamina and the energy to continue doing so? That's the biggest question, of course.
Well, we're going to have to find out, and we're going to jump in a second because we are very, very late to getting this series started. So, first of all, just quick fire predictions here, Stealthy Wolf. What have you got?
Drizzy is on fire, 4-0 for Atlakoya because Shattered won't sleep.
Okay, well, I believe in the in the redemption of a fish backboard read. So DSQ Carbo 4-0, let's see it, let's get it. I don't know, this is quite literally the most polarizing casting booth you could possibly have. Let's see how it transpires on the pitch. Game number 1 getting underway here. And yeah, I mean, it is that case of, you know, you're going to have this Carbo roster who's probably been sat here after a scrim for a good 15 minutes or so, wondering, you know, why has this series gone on for so long? And then you've got, you know, the other side here of Atlakoya, who's just come off of a crazy 7-game series with about 45 goals. It's certainly, you know, one where you could look at and think, could this be a record potentially? Well, you know what? All that doesn't matter because it's a new series. The overlay might not be working yet, but that doesn't matter because DSQ Carbo is 1-0 up.
I mean, you have to give Shattered some time, man, Hodge. You know that he's sometimes a little bit slow. It's the same as on the pitch, so it's just what it is. But yeah, this is a very quick start from Fish. You were already talking about that he needs to redeem himself from something that happened in the past, and he does so by basically getting that first goal, as we now have Drizzy, from the ceiling, trying to get the ball down as Liam is able to put it close to the net. Turn to the side. Rico, now there, trying to put it into midfield, gets the demo as Strafe has to dive in to get a last touch. And we're only 30 seconds in, but it already feels like Atlakoya has to fight to basically escape from defense.
Certainly the case. Drizzy's going to try and get this one round Fish, but he will pick this up just to get it past Strafe. We'll go back over to Liam. Takes to the skies, looks to play this one low, has the reset, looks to go the whole way, but Drizzy stops it on that goal line, and well, that could have got a little bit more dangerous there for Carbo, but it is put to a stop, and only the 1 goal lead. But for how long? Because Liam's diving right back in there, and Stealthy Wolf, he was only sort of, you know, preventing the inevitable.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time, of course, because if Kex did not get the touch there, he was going to get demoed by the follow-up from the side from Carbo, and then they would have had an open shot anyway. But there's of course some things that they could do about this, and we see a lot, of course, that they're trying to play that ball dynamically upfield, and definitely when we're talking about defense, they're just hitting it back into the awaiting side from Carbo, which is continuously allowing them to keep the pressure alive. So this is the point where Atlakoya just needs a little bit of composure to get dribbled at this ball, kind of like Strafe is doing right here as the ball falls in front of net, but Kex not there to be able to follow it up, as we have rule 1 right next to the goal as it turns into 2v2.
It certainly does. It's time to see who is the better 2v2 players on the field here. Fish is going to beat past that first player, and Liam's going to await the touch. Go over to this side wall. Will continue to sort of rise to the occasion. That's a little bit of an interesting touch. Got to get on the end of that. And, well, DSQ look to rebound to just get another one here, extending their lead. And it's really good to see for, you know, DSQ, who could have been, you know, likely sat there for a little bit waiting for this game. Whereas Atlakoya have had all the practice and all the, I guess, the warm-ups in terms of being on the stream here today so far.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, right there, we saw that they were struggling, a little bit of miscommunication, but that is, of course, the jitters again. They just got off quite a high win with something that there was a lot of pressure around. They might have been out 2 seconds ago, as we see the most interesting way to set up a goal. Liam looking for the bump, gets slowed down as Fish finds him mid-air to slow down the ball enough to get it into the net.
Yeah, certainly does. Carbo look very much locked in here for this series, and Stealthy Wolf, you already, you know, potentially a little bit, you know, confused about that prediction that you made. You know, what was it, Atlakoya 4-0? I'm looking at the scoreline right here. All I can see is 4-0 to Carbo.
I thought we were talking about game scores, but my bad.
Oh, it'll be the same,
wrong.
don't worry.
Yeah, it could be the same. I mean, but we can always go to game 2 where it could be completely different, you know? Never know, as Strafe is able to take that ball out. Now Kex on the floor trying to follow up. Fish turns it to the side. Drizzy waiting, doesn't have the boost to follow it up. As Strafe now tries to launch it upfield. Nobody to follow as Rico turns it away again. And this is exactly the point that I was talking about, Hodge, earlier, about trying to take more control, be a little bit more mindful where we're hitting the ball and with what resources we have available at the time. Because we can just see Carbo is taking advantage of the fact that Atlakoya is just handing them the ball.
Yeah, certainly the case, and Strafe will respond now as Atlakoya get themselves on the score sheet, and a lot still needed here in terms of goals to bring this one back level, but it all starts with one, and it will be provided there off of a great infield pass and a great tap in there by Strafe.
Yeah, right now, good kickoff. Drizzy trying to gain control, does get the flick, Fish there, double commit with Rico as the ball does get popped high. Strafe with the backflip, not able to do much, now has to get the read on the backboard, is able to get the flip reset as well, but the follow-up coming through from Fish, almost on target. Now Drizzy staying calm, flick to the side, finds Kex, Kex with just a small touch, not really able to continue it himself as Drizzy is already past the play, still gets the block, and it is now Carbo. That is for the first time actually this game after that first goal from Atlakoya, needing to figure out how they're going to keep up with the pressure that is coming through.
Well, Drizzy is now going to try and put a shot towards target, blocked out by a couple of Carbo players as they look to guide this one away. We saw Atlakoya were pretty good when it came to coming back in that last series. They came back from a 3-1 deficit to come out and win it in Game 7 in terms of the series score. But now it's a 3-goal deficit and it's 1 minute left on this clock. It's not a very favourable situation to be in, and Drizzy is looking to line up that weird angle for a double, but down the other side, Liam's looking to line up the shot, both denied. And for the side of Carbo, it's going to be quite a good situation for them. All they can do is essentially wait for this timer to fade. And yeah, it looks like game number 1 going to be going over to this DSQ Carbo side.
Good pop here from Strafe, puts it down to Drizzy, who is now trying to extend it, and with 20 seconds, of course, becoming quite unlikely for them to still come back. But with a minute left, there was a chance, until of course Liam scores. Now it is definitely sealed and over. But Hodge, like at the same time, if we look at the amount of goals Atlakoya was able to score in that last series, even if there would have been 1 minute remaining, there is a world where these guys suddenly find 3 goals and it is all tied up.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's why you can't really count anyone out at this sort of level, right? But yeah, it looks like with 9 seconds left, I'd be pretty confident here that DSQ should have the stead to close this one out. Looks like that's going to be the case, and yeah, that is in fact what's going to be happening as Fish gets the beat there on to that final player. Carbo 1-0 in the series, starting off strong here.
I mean, and that's exactly what you want to see for your prediction, of course. But I mean, we both know why we went 4-0s. It's not because we actually believe that it would be 4-0. It's more because we kind of foreshadowed that it could be a 4-0.
I'm praying for myself here. This is a solo game. I have no sympathy for anyone.
Fair enough. Yeah, but no, at the same time, if we're looking at just the reasons, of course, that we can see right now why Carbo is so dominant in this first game compared to Atlakoya, it is really about that midfield control. Like every time that Atlakoya basically tries to escape from their defense, they're just handing it right back to Carbo. So in those moments, they basically need to be a little bit more mindful. There's options that we have to try and get past some teams that have good midfield control, and it's of course passes deeper upfield, but then you need to have somebody there available to receive those passes, because what we're seeing right now, Atlakoya tries to clear the ball, Carbo play a little bit further back, they receive the ball immediately, and they're able to immediately continue their pressure, which allows them for so many scoring opportunities.
Yeah, certainly the case. Well, it's time to jump into game number 2 here on Forbidden Temple. Can Carbo continue off of their game 1 successes, or will Atlakoya look to try and add a little bit of an extra element into the mix? Because, you know, we've seen multiple successful games here from Atlakoya in that last series versus Dexterity. That wasn't one of them, and this one is certainly looking like it could take the same sort of path as already 10 seconds into game number 1. Liam just air dribbles it round that player and nobody else is back.
Yeah, but what a beautiful control there as well from Liam. He was reversed, still able to get that ball high enough up, and basically being able to take it all the way over Drizzy, who was expecting something of an air dribble, but not for it to go up that directly. As now Drizzy plays it all the way to the other side of the field. Doesn't really have control. Tries to get the pass into midfield. Strafe is there, but Kex takes the shot. Now Liam, control. Flicks it high. Strafe, awkward position. Can only hit it to the side as Liam is now able to continue that pressure. Tries to take that ball up. Double commit here from the side from Atlakoya, and it doesn't really help them out as Strafe is the last person back as Kex gets demoed.
Yeah, certainly does. Will be received there by Liam as Fish sort of dives in, try and get the bump onto Drizzy, but will recover, will be down the other side, will be a shot, but will hit the back wall there as the SQ Carbo, they escape on the defensive side of things and now look to change that, convert it into an attack of their own, but well dealt with down the other side, and the counter attack from Atlakoya is perfect.
And exactly here they're doing what we were talking about. They need to have a little bit more control, bail out the midfield player and make sure that you can be there before them, or maybe at the same time, worst case scenario, as Kex is able to get a beautiful pop last second to play it past the last defender. And now with the kickoff, it's even. It's now up to Atlakoya, of course, to seize the opportunity and to get them ahead for the first time in this game.
Let's see. Drizzy intervening, but only for a second because Rico's just got that one past everyone. It is an overcommit there by Atlakoya as everybody dives forward. Strafe caught a little bit off guard there as third man, and Atlakoya going to be punished immediately.
Not the ideal situation, and a little bit too far of a creep up on that follow, costing them quite an important goal actually. As now Drizzy does have a little bit of time. One-on-one against Fish. Fish does get a touch. Tries to get a 50. Liam plays a pass one. Kex, last defender back, gets bullied. As Rico now also does not have the boost to continue. Kex pass the ball. Fish, follow-up. Strafe able to turn it to the side last second as now Drizzy needs to buy a little bit of time for his team to get that boost levels up again.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's Rico from up high, but it's Strafe with the cover on the back wall. It is just looking to get this one cleared away out the Atlakoya, and Strafe doesn't have a lot of boost. It tries to go for that low reset, but it is instantly challenged by Fish there. And, well, Rico is now just hunting for those demos. It is a Carbo attack that is starting to swirl here. And Atlakoya, they've had sort of trouble dealing with it in the past, and while they are able to get the immediate pressure sort of redistributed back to the other side of the field, you know, they don't really have any possession to create an attack here, but maybe they don't need it because maybe Carbo will just miss the ball.
Yeah, good setup here as well from the pressure from Atlakoya. They realized at this point, Carbo was basically pressed with all three players to the same side of the field. One mistouch could be all it takes, and Drizzy was ready for it. This evens it out, Hodge. The odds are looking okay for Atlakoya at the moment, I would say. But they really need to make sure that they keep up this form, though.
Yeah, they certainly do, and maybe this is their chance to do so. No, Rico's got that covered. The back wall. He's going to try and play that 50. Drops towards midfield. Liam touch downfield, but instantly intercepted there by Drizzy. Will be Drizzy also picks up that corner boost. He's looking to give Carbo a hard time here in this side of the field, and Fish doesn't really have the boost to get on the end of that. So back into the hands of Atlakoya this possession. Just popped up and instantly 50'd there. And, well, Krex just looks to get that one in field over to Strafe. Atlakoya disturbing the defense here of Carbo's and immediately taking advantage. A lovely, lovely setup there.
Kex really doing well by slowing that play down, and the placement from Strafe. Oh my. Realized that the defense was going to jump high, places underneath it as they now are leading for the first time in this series. But now they have to keep it up. Drizzy bringing the ball to the backboard. Strafe not able to do much, and Liam ties it up.
Yeah, it's a great play here from the two players on DSQ Carbo. It's a setup by Rico, and Liam just there at the right place at the right time. Brings it back to a tied situation here on the Temple. And now we're going to see who's going to break this deadlock, because we've seen goals, we've seen sort of good sides from both of these teams, but this game seems to be more of a case here, Stealthy Wolf, of who's going to make the least mistakes. And you know, well, I guess we don't quite have the answer to that right now, but maybe in a minute 30 we will.
Liam does go up into in the air, does have the pinch, but slightly off target. Couldn't have the follow-up either, but now it is Fish. His turn, passing to Liam once again. Double tap found, but Drizzy turns it to the side. Pressure continues. Rico, beautiful follow-up of his own touch, and Liam there with the disruption on defense. Atlakoya struggling to keep their lead.
Yeah, well, we thought you were going to see lots of goals last series, and maybe it wasn't going to take the same sort of path this series. Think again. I think it was like 5-1 or something in the last game. This is 4-3 already, so we've got quite the plethora of goals being put down here already in the first 2 games, but expect a little bit more because we're seeing the aggression start to come back down the other side here from Atlakoya. Drizzy's looking for a pass down to get Kex there, but it will be back to this midfield line. 2 players waiting to cover. Fish dives back in there. Strafe immediately intercepts, and now Drizzy to the back wall, looking for the double. The 50 found on the goal line, and down the other side, instant clear. Can Strafe catch up to it? Absolutely not. Rico with the 5th there, and a great counter attack from DSQ.
Oh my. This was not how I was expecting Carbo to get 2 goals ahead. Strafe just a little bit too overconfident, or probably maybe desperate actually, rather than overconfident. Thinking that they really need that follow-up, that they really need that goal, but they still have 40 seconds to get one. We've seen them do it before already in less time. As Drizzy does go past one. Liam bumped. Gax with the follow, and it's 5-4 immediately, Hodge.
It is life still left here in game number 2. And what a setup there from Drizzy to go for that fake, to leave it for Kex, and for Atlakoya to slot it past that final defender. 27 seconds, 1 goal. Normally we'd say this game is looking pretty secured here for Carbo from this point forwards, but after that last series, I'm not so sure. Maybe Fish just wants to end this game here and now, but can't quite find that final touch. Strafe's going to guide it away over to a teammate. Drizzy, great touch, blocked by Liam. 10 seconds left here as DSQ Carbo look to guide this ball away. Maybe some last hope for Atlakoya as they have one final bite at the cherry here in game number 2, and a dangerous ball to work with, but it will be brought to ground nonetheless. DSQ Carbo 2-0 up in the series, 50% of the way to locking championship Saturday.
That was quite a close one as well from the side from Atlakoya. They were doing really well to keep that ball up in the last seconds. Unfortunately, it was just in vain. And I think the points that we basically brought up from the last game are definitely already showing that there's a lot more control now. Both teams basically are sharing blows one after another. And like you said, with the mistakes, it's a big part. We saw Atlakoya basically being the main team to do those overcommits. I think, honestly, Odge, if we take away those overcommits on offense, trying to be maybe a little bit too overzealous to try and get the counter goal or another goal basically in your favor, I think the scoreline could be basically 4-2 in their favor instead of the 5-4 that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, certainly so. I think this is a series which, has shown here, Stealthy Wolf, that it can shift either way. But just time and time again here in these first 2 games, it has been Carbo who've come out as the better side and have sort of taken these games. But no timeout call coming through here from the side of this Atlakoya roster, which is certainly interesting. And I believe Fish has been kicked from the game, so we'll just wait until everyone gets their players back into the lobby. There we go. DSQ Carbo ready to go. Azteca Atlakoya ready to go. And yeah, jumping into game number 3 here. Stealthy Wolf, let's see if this is going to be a 3-0 lead in the series here for DSQ. Fish plays a disgusting fake onto that last man, and Carbo already with the lead.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's why he got kicked from the game. He probably thought to himself, you know what? It's time to bring out the eyes. It's time to just show them what I'm made of, and I'm not afraid to just even throw out of fake positions.
Listen, the backboard wasn't involved, so Fish was able to score it. It's fine. We're good. But for now, down the other side, it is Atlakoya, who are a little bit angry after what they've just witnessed and going to be looking to fire back down the other side. Unfortunately for them, Rico's popped it over that first man, and, well, it is just Carbo who are making things awkward here for some of these players. Fish faking that first man once again in field, looking for Liam, and he's found him. The SQ Carbo doubling down already in 40 seconds.
You know what is interesting to me, Han? It's the fact that we just said in the post-game 2, oh yeah, they have to be careful with their overcommits and being mindful about when they're going for what. And then the next thing you see in game 3 is Atlakoya twice just diving onto something where they still have the space in reality to stay back. As Liam almost gets a beautiful read, but Rico with the follow-up. It's 3 already. Carbo is saying, guys, come on, if you really want to try and get a chance, you have to bring it right now, otherwise we're running away.
I think at this point, Carbo's saying GG's, wrap up the series, it's over. 3-0 up here in game number 3. They're looking to seal the deal on the series. I mean, they won't have the opportunity to do that here and now, but certainly a reverse sweep here from Atlakoya would be special. And we don't see them very often. I think the last season we saw about 3 in the playoffs in terms of best of 7s across all tiers. This season, I believe we've only seen 1 so far, all the way back in Academy. So it's not a very, likely thing to happen, but for Atlakoya, they don't want to be faced with that opportunity. They want to try and rebound, and maybe a little bit of a ground dribble here is what's going to allow them to do that as they look to get the pressure started.
Ooh, right now, good opportunity. Drizzy sees Rico fly past the ball, is able to set up his Doomsday dish quite quickly as Hodge is basically laughing in the background. I don't know why, or is it shattered? Am I incriminating you?
Sorry, I didn't see Drizzy completely there on my screen, and I thought that they just own goaled it. Sorry. That was a great shot.
Fair enough. As we now have another attempt, slow play. Drizzy, sadly not there on time. Launches the ball back. Bumps his team in the process to get back into defense, as they will need all 3 players for the oncoming onslaught from Carbo. Strafe goes first. Ties gets a beautiful 50. Boost taken by Kex. Block found by Drizzy, as it's now Carbo trying to find their way out of defense. As Kex, gets almost a beautiful placement there.
Yeah, almost. And not quite. Let's see. Atlakoya trying to go back on this attack. And it's Liam who covers off the back wall. But Carbo, they can't, sit back just yet. You can't take this lead for granted, because stuff like this will come back to bite you. Strafe, an incredible play there, a great setup, but somebody's just got to go, and nobody was willing to.
I mean, Fish was kind of just stuck there. He was covering front post, and Rico at the same time was doing the same thing, so back post was open. I mean, we have to give credit where credit is due. Strafe realized that quite well in that situation, and he just took advantage of it. It's as simple as that, as Drizzy now gets bumped out of the way. Kex tries to get the follow-up, can't able to do so, as Rico only has 16 boost, plays it past Strafe, ball high in the air. No one there to take it, as Drizzy gets 1 touch. Leon with the follow, goes a little bit high. Kex, beautiful touch, able to get it into the corner, does get the bump on Fish. Fish now trying to get that pass into midfield, and it's Carbo that is looking to get their lead extended. As Drizzy finds Strafe, goes into the backboard. Liam trying to set up that clear again, goes for the solo play, gets a touch past 1. Rico there with the follow, beautiful shot.
Yeah, it's magical here from Carbo. Liam just guides that ball completely over the top of that first man and lets Rico fire from the cannon. Carbo 4-2, restoring a little portion of that lead that they had back early on in this game. And I think they sort of got reality checked a little bit after Atlakoya sent 2 goals back their way. They were like, maybe we don't have this game quite secured just yet. Let's get back on the attack. Let's score some goals. And that's exactly what they're trying to do here as well. Fish trying to get this one in field. Be a great pop-up, but Liam's misread the touch, and it will be back down the other side, where Rico's just looking to avoid the bumps, avoid the hassle. But, quite a far overcommit here from Atlakoya as well. And, well, DSQ, they're looking to punish. Can't quite slot it, though.
Yes, it's now still the counter-attack from Atlakoya, still needing to be built, as Strafe has to get that touch. Beautifully able to turn that ball to the side. Drizzy lobs it around 1. Tries to follow, gets the ball into midfield, is all alone by himself against Rico, trying to find his teammate in the midfield as Strafe is ready. Pass does not connect. as it's now the counter. Liam, beautiful double. Kex in an awkward position. Strafe able to turn that ball to the side, but Rico will be able to turn on it. But it is Drizzy that is fast enough to go on the offensive as the preemptive strike from Strafe almost worked out in their favor.
Almost, but maybe almost is going to be turned into a yes here. Not for Atlakoya, but for DSQ Carbo. It is success on the counter-attack. They get their 3-goal lead back. And well, speaking of 3-0 lead in 47 seconds, that's exactly what they'll have in this series.
Yeah, and there was also something last series, by the way, where they just never take their timeout. So maybe this team is either unaware of the fact that they have timeouts, Hodge, or they just don't do them. And they're like, you know what, we'd rather just lose normally than taking timeouts. So, I mean, I don't know what is going to go on there, but I think they will need at least those 16 seconds between this game and the next one if they even want to set themselves up for that reverse sweep attempt.
Some players just don't like taking them. That's the thing, you know. Some people think it kills their momentum a little bit, regardless of how the series is going, right? Some people just want to keep playing, and that's exactly what we're seeing here in this situation. Like you're saying, they didn't take the timeout last time. Wouldn't really expect them to do it again here, based on that. But the ball is going to drop by the looks of things, and DSQ Carbo 3-0 up in the series. They're looking to sweep things home here and claim their spot on Championship Saturday, 1 game away from doing so.
Yeah, and I mean, I get your point as well from the perspective of the keeping your momentum, making sure that you stay warm and such. But at the same time, it kind of goes both ways, of course. Your timer can also be a tactical weapon against your opponents, because at the moment, if I were to be at Atlakoya, I would not be sitting there like, okay, I think we need that timer for ourselves. I think we need that timer more to stop the offensive pressure and the momentum that Carbo is building at the moment. And at the same time, of course, then we can figure out what we're doing, why it's going wrong, what can we do to find each other a little bit better. Because if you compare this series to the series that we had beforehand, we can tell that right now it is Atlakoya that is struggling to find one another. It's more coming through from solo plays all by itself, which is, of course, not the ideal way to play this game.
Ball knowledge prediction or ball knowledge prediction? What can I say?
Maybe you got lucky.
Yeah,
Luck is also a factor in a skill anyway, you know.
I can't lie, I've not been any more unconfident in a prediction, and it might just work. So yeah, we're going to get this game started in a second or so when Drizzy rejoins the lobby. And there we go, we're back involved in the action. Game number 4 here on the Coliseum. Will it be a sweep here for Carbo, or does Atlakoya still have some fight left in them here in RSC 17?
Well, it's all, of course, to be decided right now as we are in Game 4. It's do or die for Atlakoya. They have to bring it home if they want to even have a remote chance to continue on to Saturday, as it's now Drizzy getting that ball into midfield. Kex cutting in front of Strafe, a little bit of miscommunication there. Kex plays it low, goes beyond Rico, but Rico able to adjust, go down as he flings that ball upfield. Liam, no boost. Drizzy covering behind Strafe. Strafe trying to get that ball into midfield as Kex is able to turn away, as now Rico gets that ball to Kex. A little bit of team play, but not from the two teams that we were expecting. It's cross-team play? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's called cheating.
It's cheating. So that it's like match fixing, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. So somebody must just want their teammates to lose or something. Who knows? But yeah, a minute in, no goals just yet. Maybe I've spoken a little bit too soon, because with 2 seconds left before that statement became, irrelevant. It is a goal slotted there by Atlakoya. It's Kex there, finding the back of the net. Great pass there by Drizzy. And Atlakoya, it is a long way back, but it's always a good way to start things with a goal.
You know what I also just realized throughout the entire series, Drizzy has been changing his name.
I know,
in the beginning, yeah, I didn't realize it before. In the beginning, it was like Drizzy is serious now, and now it is Drizzy is locking in. So I think Drizzy is locking in. So I think they really want to win still.
Will it work? Will it work? That's the question.
I don't know. Before it was Sniper.
I saw that, yeah. And that certainly worked. But we need that back.
Yeah, maybe we do. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe the locking in is also a good start as he does get that ball to the sidewall. Not able to follow it up himself. Missed there. Kex able to get that 50. Drizzy first. Gets the ball into midfield. Strafe not able to get a touch as Fish is able to turn it to the side. Strafe now trying to find Kex. Kex goes completely past the ball as now Liam has an opportunity, but he gets demoed on the way to the ball. As this is the first time that Atlakoya has basically been ahead for, what is it, a minute and a half? A minute?
Yeah, it feels that way. It certainly does. We'll have to see. It's down the other side. It's DSQ who are hunting to try and find a response. It will be a little bit of a, attack here and there that's starting to build, but pass sent a little bit too far, and now Azteca look to take over the reins here. It will be Kex to try and sort of shoot this one, but can't quite find the back of the net. Back in field though, and maybe Drizzy can, but going to be blocked out and, well, picked up here by Liam. Dealt with pretty well by DSQ, but you have to think that it could also be a case of the shooting needed to be a little bit better here from Atlakoya.
Yeah, right now they are, of course, in a good position as Drizzy tries to slow play it. Gets that 50, but Kex a little bit too far up. Drizzy locking in indeed on both offense and defense, bailing out his teammate that was overcommitted a little bit as he now gets one touch. Rico getting a ball high, tries to follow it up himself. It's not able to get the second touches. It's now safe down to the other end. Demo found by Drizzy. Kex with the block as the ball is being kept on the Carbo side, and eventually there should be coming a good opportunity as we now have Kex. No!
What could have been? What could have been? Well, lead still.
It could have been in the net.
It could have been in the net, but it's not, and it's a 1-goal lead still. So Atlakoya are going to look to try and hold on to that and look to extend it down the other side. Well, Liam's just looking to get rash here. Immediately dunks that player, and DSQ just looking to try and cycle these rotations. Strafe touch there off of the back wall, and Drizzy instantly follows to that up. Liam take to the sky. He's trying to get this one over to Rico, to the corner, back over to Fish, who looks to try and get that beat, but DSQ, as much as they might try again, sometimes things just don't work out.
Ooh, and a beautiful extension here for Kex, finally allowing Atlakoya to exit their defensive strategy as it's now Strafe to the other side. Does get a flick, a little bit too slow as Liam is able to follow up. Rico with the open. Oh no, Strafe. I like the idea, but the execution of the flick, sadly enough, was too lackluster, and the team already completely bailed to the other side to follow up that play.
Yeah, it's a great connection there from Carbo, and they instantly punish the mistake. We go back to the center circle here. See if DSQ can close this one out in a sweep, but if we see another game here brought to us by Atlakoya, and we might see it in regulation, we might see it in overtime. Stay tuned to find out. But what we certainly will see is Rico taking this ball all the way back. Drizzy, a great touch, and it will have to be Fish who catches this and instantly beats out DSQ. Finding a little bit of pushback here. Oh, does he just save that? He's gone for the bump and saved it.
The defense was there, so one way or another, they would have done something. As it's now Strafe in quite a predicament, able to turn that ball to the side. Liam keeping it into midfield with 7 seconds remaining. It's now Carbo that's knocking on the door as Drizzy goes all the way downside. Kex with the fake. I thought it was a redirect, but Drizzy gets that goal last second to get Atlakoya in a good position. But guys, it's not over. 2 seconds kickoff goals. The kickoff strategies lately have been wild, and I'm kind of in a way expecting it also maybe to happen here.
Well, let's find out. It was a kickoff. Certainly that went the way of Carbo, but unfortunately for them, it was a little bit too quick and it slammed straight into the ground. Atlakoya holding on in game number 4, and they certainly made it known in the chat with a couple of water saves here and there. So let's see. Will Carbo, get a little bit angry about that one going into game number 5? Will they look to close things out here? And I have to say, I want to get your take on this as well, Stealthy Wolf. I feel like, the most important games in a series, firstly the opening one, and then also the one that you've got to close the series in. I feel like for some teams, closing a series is, more difficult than anything.
It's quite difficult for the fact that the entire thing during a series is always like more a mental warfare against yourself than it is sometimes actually beating the opponents in their game. Of course, there's going to be moments where you really are just out of your depth. That makes sense. But there's also moments, of course, where you just feel like, okay, we're already there. We don't have to do anything flashy. We don't have to do anything special. And then you start to relax, and that relaxation basically turns into an opportunity for the other team. And then suddenly, end of the game, you've basically got reverse swept, and you're like, wait, what happened? And it basically all started right there, indeed.
Certainly did. And already, I see DSQ come into the attack, and Rico looking to fire that shot past that final defender. Drizzy stays planted on the defensive side, and Liam looking to involve himself as well. Fish, a pop-up, and Liam back over to Rico. It is team play perfection, but perfection, it doesn't, maybe I shouldn't quite use that word, because it didn't quite result in a goal.
Well, not a goal yet, but Strafe tries to get it to the sidewall to get control, as it's now Fish doing the same thing. Goes slow, gets dunked immediately by Drizzy, who's trying to find the dunk on Rico, as it's now Strafe. Last man back, not able to get that touch all the way upfield, as it's Liam. Beautiful control, Kex turning it away, and it's immediately takeover. It's like, normally we were talking about like the ping pong diagram, right? Like everybody's just banging the ball, it's going from one team to another, as we now have almost the ball going in. Drizzy, the follow-up, but what was that hit against the crossbar?
Atlakoya starting to find some form here in the second half of this series, and yeah, I don't know what happened there with the whole crossbar escapade, but nonetheless, it is a goal here for the side of Atlakoya, as a minute in, they hold that lead. But DSQ look to come hunting down the other side. Fish pass over to Rico. Wasn't quite on the same page there, but Liam's going to look to try and force that one through. Blocked out nonetheless. Rico looking to avoid that bump. Fish has to fly in there. And, well, I didn't know Fish could fly, but maybe they can. As DSQ Carbo going to get this one down and connect the passing play. But beat to the punch by Atlakoya, my goodness.
Are you having a moment there, Hodge? Is it going to refine, or?
I've had many moments today. Don't worry, it's just to add to the tally, you know.
Okay, no, just wanted to make sure that you're fine and everything is good, because I do understand this gameplay can be quite confusing. Can be moments like you're thinking, okay,
listen, I'm an academy player. I don't do this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was about to say, like, sometimes you were thinking like, oh yeah, I now know that it's going to be the most basic play, and then suddenly you see 3 people up and the ball just chitters around the field. Suddenly it is in one person's net, and you're like, okay, but how do I even start explaining this?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, I can't even say after watching JPEG did that, you know, Academy is just as simple as put the ball in the back of the net, because it's not. But down the other side, it is a great setup by Atlakoya, and, you know, to sort of see the difference, this is the difference here. It's Drizzy. It's a great setup like we talked about there, and it's the instant follow-up there by Kex. 2-0 for Atlakoya. Carbo on the back foot here in game number 5.
Beautiful setup, and Kex does follow the thing that you said, just putting the ball in the back of the net, and he seems to be very good at that, as we do have the ball going into the back of the net of the other team. A little bit more, yeah, in an odd way, as Rico does get that touch, does get a lucky question mark 50 at the end, or a lucky touch to keep making that ball go into the right direction. Yeah, elite, man. It is elite.
It might, in fact, be the elite tier. Maybe. But yeah, let's see if we can maybe see it proven here. So, down this side of the field, it's DSQ looking to try and exploit the mistakes and the gaps in that defense. And, you know, a 2-0 lead going to be instantly reined in here by Carbo.
Yeah, right here. A little bit of an awkward situation, though, because Drizzy really needed to get that first touch. The first touch, sadly, a little bit too far out, not being able to follow that up, and nobody from his team was back, as that makes it already 2-2. Not ideal situation for Atlakoya, given the fact that he had the advantage. It's now Fish. Tries to get that ball into midfield. Rico with the pass. Now Drizzy launching that ball further, trying to get some time in their favor to try and get some pass, try and get some boost, as Drizzy tries to get the redirect. Doesn't is not able to do so. Wow, now I am having my moment, Hodge. It happens, I guess.
It happens. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, I mean, a minute 30-ish, 40-ish left on this clock. Still some time for both of these teams to find the impact. And, well, for DSQ, it's about cutting back in this rotation and making it easier for that third man, who is Rico in this case, and playing that 50 is Kex, but picked up by Liam. It's a marathon down this pitch, not a sprint. Takes multiple 50s, multiple challenges, and just one Rico by the looks of things, as he gets that past a couple of players, and, well, instantly picked up there by Atlakoya. It is certainly a bit of a back and forth one here, as both teams are looking to try and break this tie.
Yeah, I think both teams are now in a position where they don't really want to take any risks. They don't want to play with too much control, because of course if the opponents dive in that exact moment, there can be a moment where you are basically caught completely off guard, out of rotation, and it gives a free opportunity to the opposite sides. And I think that's why we're also kind of seeing this more ping-pong-ish style, big booms, no real control. Sometimes, of course, a solo play coming in, and that is so far the only pressure that I think we've really seen.
Yeah, certainly so. 30 seconds left on this clock here before we see an overtime, and, well, right now what we're seeing is DSQ Carbo panicking in the defense a little bit. Very little boost resources, and down the other side it's Kex just looking to try and, well, I'm not really sure what he was looking to try and do there, but regardless, it didn't work. DSQ Carbo now looking for one more attack here, potentially is going to drop down. Strafe picks it up, but back over to Rico. It will ricochet. Kex touch high. Who is there for the side of DSQ? It is Fish, but it's grounded. And, well, down the other side, this play could still have some motion to it, but no. Drizzy keeping it up, looking to dive back in, but how is that still up? What? That looked certainly on the ground, but Kex still sticking around on this play. Atlakoya don't want to close this one off just yet. Liam, however, wants it on the ground. Straight front, let it happen. Finally, it is going to hit the ground there. We have overtime.
Yeah, that was quite the last moment there, and this is exactly what we were talking about. Neither team wanting to make a mistake, playing it very safe, and Atlakoya in the last moment being like, okay guys, if we're going down in a bang, or we're just going to win this game. As they really threw everything that they had at this, as now it's Kex with opportunity, plays it into the ceiling, tries to follow it up himself. Good first touch, good dribble, with a fake! Kex does it all the way himself, and Strafe not able to finish. That is just catastrophical.
Certainly is. And will they be punished for that mistake? Will that be an opportunity that you know, Atlakoya are going to look back on and think, this could have got us to game number 6? Maybe. The answer is imminent, but no. It's taken away there. Fish guiding it through this corner. Drizzy picks it up. And DSQ look to get their ducks in a row here. But for now, it will be Kex taking off that field. Drizzy looking to watch out and try and not be demoed. Hang on a second, that could be a catastrophic. No! And it is Rico with the game winner. DSQ Carbo, for the most part, destroy Atlakoya and wipe them out of the tournament in a 4-1.
I was expecting many ways for the series to end, Hodge.
That wasn't one of them.
And then no, this was definitely not one of them. Oh my. Oh, this just hurts because, like, this just feels like a mechanical / communicational error that could have been easily avoided. And like we said, with the moment from Strafe just before that, is like, it really hurts. And Atlakoya did so well in the last series to basically be stunned in this way. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes here. But to look at these post-series stats, I mean, we can see that for the most part, DSQ were pretty dominant, especially in those first 3 games. And then, you know, towards the end of the series, it was Atlakoya who started to catch up, but wasn't quite enough. But, you know, I'll tell you someone who was quite enough, and the entire chat is very aware of that here. It is Liam for DSQ. It seems like everybody's Starboy in chat, but yeah, Liam, what a performance.
Yeah, he did absolutely amazing. We saw it as well. He was definitely the the thorn in the eyes for Atlacoya. Constantly when they're trying to build something up, Liam would be right there, stopping them in their tracks, keeping that midfield on lockdown in those first 3 games. Yeah, I mean, Atlacoya, of course, at one point found their stride, but it just was not enough. Liam had already done too much damage as they were able to take it in the end 4-1. My prediction looks absolutely ridiculous. Yours looks more on track with just a lucky game to Atlacoya. And yeah, I mean, Hodge, I think there's little to say about this, but Atlacoya won't be there on Saturday. And Carbo was showing really strong here, so they might be in a good position as well for Saturday to try and get themselves at least a deep run.
This is the oddest way I've ever closed out a stream, by the way. I've been instantly challenged to a 1v1 by Fish, so I had to immediately accept. But yeah, I didn't win it. But yeah, it's a great series here by Carbo. And yeah, I think before we close things out and move forward to the next series, it's time to take a look at how the play-in bracket currently stands at. And see where things currently is. Yeah, we've got one more series left for the day. I mean, did I get my prediction right? That says 4-0 to me. Carbo Atlacoya. It wasn't 4-0, but I'll take that as my prediction correct.
I believe that was Shattered Praying, though.
I rigged the bracket. I rigged the bracket. GG. Okay, I rigged the bracket. Stingray's fault.
Stinger's fault, yeah.
But yeah, we've got one more match here left today. It is Aspire Summit taking on Team Serene Akami. Winner moves forward to play in the upper bracket and starts Saturday on the better sort of playing field. Loser is going to move forward. Well, move down. They're going to move down to play against DSQ Carbo in round 1 on Championship Saturday here in Elite. But like we say, we've got one more game still left to come, and it'll be coming in about 10 minutes time. So stay tuned here. We've got one more game.
Shaking the room from the back to the center, making you move to the track you surrender. Body scrunching your face on top, the bass goes boom as we enter. Body scrunching your face on top.
very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at them exact movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here of course for our final series of tonight, and I'm still here, luckily, and I've brought a new face with me. GM, welcome to the Elite play-ins. It's of course the last game in play-ins, and it's between none other than Team Serene and Aspire. How are you feeling about this match?
Well, it's good to be here, and we did see the lower bracket earlier. We did see a game set between Atlakoya and Celeritas. Atlakoya winning that, but then they were promptly crushed by Carbo in their next series. But now we have an upper bracket match, as you said, between Summit and Ukami. It is third from the Ignis Conference, taking on second from the Glaciers Conference. And it's both interesting for us that both these teams, they have the same number of game wins as each other. It's just that Okami, they have a slightly better goal difference. And they also have more goals scored, so I feel that that's going to be a factor. But also more saves as well, and a higher shot accuracy. So you can't feel that the stats are favouring Okami.
Yeah, I mean, it might be in their favor, but it of course doesn't say anything. I mean, they were on two separate conferences. They never really played the same team, so it's the same thing like when you could have one team from one conference suddenly be doing really well to where they would trump all their teams in their conference, and then suddenly they play somebody from the other conference, and the other conference was just suddenly a lot stronger than all the other ones. So it's just a question of, will that be true here as well? Will it be one conference being stronger than the other, given the fact that the stats are indeed the same? I think it's maybe a good thing then as well to think about what your prediction would be, GM. Do you have a clue already?
I think I have backed Serene to win, and it would be their first win as a franchise in the postseason. I'm going to give it to them in Game 7. I think the stats go to show that it is so close. I think they are for a reason.
Fair enough. Yeah, you may be going for Game 7. I think I'm going to be a little bit bolder. Just like Shattered, I kind of would like to go to bed as soon as possible. So I'm going to go with 4-0 in Team Serene's favor. Not that I'm completely counting out the side from Aspire. I just want to say, okay, I think Team Serene is going to win, and therefore I'm going to go with a 4-0 prediction. It's probably going to jinx it. It's not going to be a 4-0, but hey, Shattered, blame me in that case.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, like, don't be surprised if it ends up being like 4-1 or 4-2 to Aspire. I mean, that's probably the thing that will make both of our predictions wrong, and as wrong as possible. But we don't know how it's going to go. I mean, it is only a prediction. I think we'll need to see what kind of players the teams put out. It looks like Summit are lining out with Reptic, Wilkie, and S&W. So Azabeng not involved. I'm not sure if that's like Azabeng was a sub from the start, and as Cami, it looks like Vinci, Nixo, and Moggy. So it looks like both teams are using their lowest CMV player. It looks like both teams have the sub as a higher CMV player. So it's interesting to see that they fared so well in league play, but for one of them, their upper bracket run will not continue.
Well, it's of course time to go into that game, GM, and see which one of the two teams is going to come out on top. It is Okami against Summit. Game 1, take it away.
Well, looks like it's an interesting kickoff from Okami. They nearly got a goal. Was just wide, and now Moggy going in for a challenge, and now Wilkie not much boost to work with, and so it's going to be difficult to keep the ball in that position. Now Reptic does get it over Moggy, and S&W's in support, gets a shot on, but Vinci was there to make the save. Nix is very awkward, but no challenge from Summit. Maybe could consider herself somewhat lucky in that regard, as both teams are just struggling to put anything together going forwards, as well, it looks like they're trying to get the touch, they're trying to get it under control. There's always a challenge coming in, and they just need to win the ball outright like that. And S&W, he just can't quite get there. It's fairly promising for Summit, but no goals yet.
Yeah, no goals being scored yet, but we see a lot of pressure coming out from both sides as it is Vinci able to find the back of the net just below the crossbar as the defense is low. We see Reptic struggling there, awkward situation, suddenly see the shots coming out, and he barely wasn't able to reach that. It's a good start, of course, for the side from Okami, but so far we've been seeing a lot of aggression from both sides, trying to probably, like, how do you say it, like, feel out the water, see what both teams have in the tank, what can we expect from one another, and what can we do. But so far we saw already that Moggy had to be clutch there in a defensive situation from Okami, as we now have the ball going back to defense. Moggy once again on that clear. SNW trying to keep the pressure alive as Nixo does go above it, now trying to get that ball centralized as it goes past the ball, bumps Wilkie in the process, as it's Vinci keeping up that pressure, and Okami are definitely trying to find their second goal.
No, and I mean, there haven't been that many shots from either team, and I think the goal that Okami scored, I felt that's been the most threatening play all game long, as Nexo was unable to find the pass. Now Reptic is going up for it. He can't get the second touch though, and just like Okami, it's like they have everything covered, but feel like things just aren't quite coming together. Or maybe there's a mistake by Summit, and it's Okami getting the second goal. It feels like that's the only way that goals are going to be scored. Looks like Wilkie just not quite able to get there. So he dove across the goal line, and in the end, it was an open goal which Nixo did not need an invitation to put away.
Yeah, no, very good start from them here, as it is, of course, the side from Summit that have to now fight back, as it is Moggy going up into this in the air. Does get the 50 right there. Ball put behind Reptic, as Wilkie needs to keep the defense clean. Can't really keep control of the ball, as Nixo is still close, trying to find that pressure. And the one thing that we can see quite clearly here, GM, is we see that Okami is trying to keep a lot of control of that ball. They're keeping it close. Their first touches are with a distinct reason to keep the ball close. And we see a bump on defense bailed out by Vinci, who was returning as their third player. Okami get away with something there.
Yeah, they do. And, well, as that Summit, they are starting to warm up a bit. They are starting to get, like, the players are starting to fall upon their own touches. But there's a bump coming in, and Wilkie's shot, while not particularly threatening on its own, but the bump from S&W on Moggy, who otherwise would have made the save, was allowed that goal to go in, and Summit, they have been able to get a goal of their own, but they are still behind, still with work to do, but at least they have something to work with now.
Yeah, and that's of course the hard thing in this situation. When you're going up 2-0 already, you feel like there's not really a lot of pressure coming out from the other side. Suddenly you're like, okay, maybe you have a little bit more time. Maybe we can actually relax. And that is the moment, of course, that you start to make mistakes, as we now see the pressure piling up. The second goal almost being found, but Moggy making sure that it stays at a 2-1. Now below the ball as well, trying to set up the boom. Gets it up to midfield, follows it himself. A good block, Nixon with the follow. It almost goes in, but beautiful save there from the side from Summit.
Yeah, it was. It looked up very good. And they do get their third. It is Nixo. As at Summit, they could only keep the ball out for so long, as Reptic, the clear wasn't strong enough. I mean, the strange thing is, had it been a bit weaker, then maybe Wilkie would have been able to follow up on it, but I mean, they can only wonder. They can't worry about what might have been. They find themselves 2 goals down again, and with even less time to work with. And can't feel that the touches need to be better, as Moggy running out of boost. 1 minute left for Summit to salvage something. That's a good pass to S&W. Plays it into the middle. Wilkie's up for it, but a 50, and now S&W follows up. And Summit go back to only a 1-goal deficit, but with less than a minute to go, Okami will need to concentrate to get themselves over a line.
The optimal 50 there, of course, from the side from Vinci, and that is, of course, the one thing that we're seeing right here. It is the side from Summit that realized the moment of weakness there in defense, is able to capitalize on it. So now the question is, of course, how will they be able to keep that up? How will they be able to continue this, as we see Moggy with a beautiful double tap attempt, slightly goes wide. Nixo now in reverse, tries to get a bump on a potential player there as Vinci. Able to get it past one, but Reptic able to capture it immediately as Wilkie plays it down to the side. Vinci there with the boost. Ball goes high. Vinci playing that ball to the other side to keep that pressure alive, as it's now Moggy with that counter attack, as it is Okami lurking, trying to find their fourth to make sure that they solidify themselves in this game 1.
Yeah, but with only 15 seconds left, and with Summit lurking, still, it's not over yet. But this could be a loose ball for Moggy to latch onto. That would have finished it. But instead, the ball is still in the air. Vinci needs to drop it. Reptic keeps it up though. And now his teammates have to chase it. S&W into middle. Reptic looking to play the pass as well. That one's blocked. And now S&W onto a wall. And now Reptic is first to bat. Vinci drops it in the nick of time. And Okami, they just about get themselves over the line. They put in some good work early. And Summit did peg them back a couple of times, but they just about had enough.
Yeah, just about enough. And one thing, of course, that we saw right there is how clutch Moggy has been this game with these saves. And I think that is one thing that we have to take away here as well. We saw from Summit, the moment that they removed Moggy as that last man in defense, suddenly they were getting a lot of more opportunities, and maybe that is the thing that they need to be playing at. Because in essence itself, both teams were doing really well with building something up from scratch, not making sure that they play a little bit too dynamic, banging that ball away, trying to basically make the other team cause issues. They were actually building from scratch themselves, and that is a thing that is really working for them. So I think right now, the main thing that we have to see is a little bit more physicality, making sure that they can remove that third on the defensive side from Okami, and then suddenly we're going to see a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Summit's first goal came from, the bump on the last man. They've seen that it can work for them before, and they'll be wanting for it to work for them again. But of course, we'll have to wait and see if they do attempt a similar play again. SpartanWare gets ahead of Moggy, but there's no one in support in the middle, so he has to try and force the ball through himself. But now Wilkie is there. Vinci with a clear goes over Reptic, but S&W trying to follow up. Moggy makes a save, and now Wilkie doesn't get there on the challenge. Now Reptic, that's a good first touch, but isn't able to follow up, so S&W has to take over, plays it back to Reptic onto the backboard, but Vinci, it's good control. But I feel it is like good first touches, but after that, the ball just gets going away, either because of teammates onto position to receive the ball, or it's just like a technical error.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things going on there. I mean, there's a lot of good plays going in. Sometimes, of course, we're going to still have those mechanical errors coming through, or not the right intention. Well, sorry, the right intention, not the right execution, and that is, of course, also to be expected. Like, hey, I mean, we're all human after all. It can be moments, of course, that we're not performing up to par, and at the same time, it's also not masters, and that's something that we also have to keep in the back of our minds as we see Muggy trying to get a ball upfield. Nixo there. Sees SMW, falls back correctly as he now tries to get that ball past Reptic. Follow up coming through to middle, but Muggy, wall as he is on defense, cool as a cucumber, is able to turn that ball around, and Nixo is able to find it on the other end of the field.
Yeah, it's just a counter-attack. So it's a good shot. It goes right between them. Just enough on it. Wilkie tried his best to keep it out, but not quite able to. And it is Nixo putting Okami in front. And Summit, they want to make sure that they don't concede again, because a 2-goal lead did prove insurmountable in the previous game. It's S&W, not the greatest clearance, but Nixo's shot well wide. Now Wilkie doesn't get a second touch, but Reptic is there for a follow-up, so Summit have been doing that better, and Reptic takes it all by himself. Okami short-staffed at the back. Moggy got nowhere near on the challenge, as Nixo not quite able to get there. Now it's Reptic just taking it all the way in.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful control play, and that's the thing that of course we need to see as well in this series, is people not being afraid to slow it down, not being afraid to keep that ball close, and Reptic did that beautifully after that first half play. As now Vinci, awkward position, gets that ball past one, looking for that 50, is able to do so. Now it's Moggy going up, plays that ball past Reptic. Good extension there from Wilkie, making sure that the ball doesn't immediately fall into the hands of Okami again, and what a beautiful passing play here.
It certainly is. It starts with Reptic, and I think maybe the Okami defense, maybe they get tricked into thinking he's going to carry on with it, but instead he leaves it for S&W, and Summit are actually in the lead for the first time this series, and now they have something to work with.
Ooh, bump found. Moggy trying to find Vinci in the midfield, as it's now Moggy having to fall back. Wilkie, beautiful placement there as well. Reptic keeps it in the offensive pressure. Vinci going early, gets bumped in the way out, as it is SMW now with the follow. I mean, we did say something about our physicality, and it's already showing. Reptic, beautiful setup here, takes out that first defender. Nixon not expecting to having to dive in there that quickly, as SMW is able to get them that 3-1 lead.
Yeah, it's such intelligent play, but air dribble bump, plus you're expecting to just keep going for a ball, but instead he strays away from it and takes out the defender, opens things up, but Reptic just gets the ball taken away from him, and now Okami, their turn one, they get a bump of their own, and they do make the most of it, and now they're the ones who cut the deficit in half.
I mean, the bump surely helped, but then at the same time it was up to Moggy, of course, to be able to get all the way to the other side. And I mean, this is good, of course. They need to show that they have the skills that they need to be able to bounce back, as it's now Vinci, one-on-one against Reptix, decides to stay low. Now fakes the shot, tries to get it in a beautiful position, sadly not able to connect to it, as it's now Wilkie going to the sidewall. Blocked by Moggy. Ball stays in their half. Nixo, good 50 again. Vinci with the quick follow-up, and it is 3-3 suddenly, Jam. If it keeps going this way, we're going to have yet another volatile series.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like maybe there should have been a challenge from Summit a little bit earlier. All three of them were like close to the goal, none of them really in a position to shut down the shot at source, which we haven't really seen that often. Normally there's a challenge coming in, but for some reason I feel like they were all just huddled into their own shell, and I think they got punished for it. And now Okami, I think they started to find their footing. They started to see that the counter-attacks are working and they are using them to full effect.
I'm still trying to capture what happened there, but from what I can see, it was just basically Raptic and SMW basically following too closely to the challenge from Wilkie. But at the same time, we always have to keep in mind that our teammates, even though that they're going for a challenge, can be beat, as we now have Moggy. Beautiful backs to Vinci. Vinci does not find the double. That could have been a beautiful team play from the side from Akami. As we now go down the other end, Raptic. Good shot. Turned to the side by Moggy, who is now able to clear it upfield as they turn around. Yeah, not a good offensive attempt from the side from Summit.
No, and now it's a good 50, but S&W, I'm not sure if there's a bit of panic setting in, but just completely got it wrong on the approach. But now a chance to make amends. Wilkie, the pass to Reptic, the shot is on. Vinci, very awkward at the post there. Nixo has to save it onto his own bar. And Moggy, not the greatest touch. S&W still kept out. This time by Nixo. And Reptic has it in the corner. Onto Wilkie. Moggy trying to find the clearance. S&W lying in wait. Just plays it vertically, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And now Reptic, Summit, faced with a task that they were at this point in the previous game, keeping the ball up, trying to take it down the other end, trying to get a 0-second equaliser. And they'll have to hope that Okami don't ground it like they did the previous game, but Wilkie with 0 boost wasn't able to get there. And Okami, unlike the previous game, they had to fight back, but just like the last game, they came out on top.
Yeah, they really had to bring their A game, and we see it once again, Moki being very crucial with those 4 saves. And at the same time, and this is the thing that is so nice to see from their side, everybody is involved, everybody is getting their opportunity to try and score, as everybody is sharing in that scoreline. Whereas from the side from Summit, we basically see that Wilkie has been there for pressure. He has been there to get 1 save, to get 3 shots, but none of assists or goals, which is a little bit unfortunate, of course, but we saw some good attempts in there. And I think Raptic can be their main man to push them forward, because we saw the times that they scored, that they were ahead. It all came from that solo play / bump play coming out of the plays from Raptic. So maybe it's just a trend. Maybe they just need to allow more space for one another, not following up as closely as we do head into the next game. And it is Okami that is already in quite a nice spot. Again, no timeout taken. It's just a theme today. I don't think today we're going to take timeouts. Everybody, I think, handshake to that before the matches started at all. But yeah, interesting.
I mean, to be fair, like, and yes, they're 2-0 down, but the margin of defeat and also the manner of defeat, they haven't been that damning as it were. In fact, they take the lead inside only 10 seconds. It's Reptic banging to the wall. S&W, they think he's going to corner, but instead he actually leaves it for Wilkie to ghost in at the back post. And Summit, after only 10 seconds, they have a first goal of game 3.
Yeah, and I was already saying something. We were sadly not seeing a lot in offensive contributions from the side from Wilkie, as he's like, okay, you know what, Selfie Wolf, just hold my my cola real quick. I'll show you what I can do. As we now have Vinci trying to get that ball all the way to the other side, as it's Raptic keeping the pressure alive. A little bit of an awkward moment here in defense. Good control from Muggy, but is immediately turned away as Wilkie tries to find that bump on Nixo. Not able to get it. Ball to the other side. Wilkie there, and it is a second shot from Wilkie that finds the back of the net.
Well, for all we know, it might actually be Hold My Water, but whatever beverage he has by his side, one thing is for sure is that he is not to be counted out. And while, as you rightly said, his previous game was fairly quiet going forwards, he's really turned it on this time round. Even if it is only being at the right place at the right time, it's certainly enough to put them in a 2-goal lead. It would have been just one had Muggy's shot snuck under the bar, but you have to say Summit they've came out into this third game with purpose, and maybe their decision to not have a timeout has been vindicated if it stays like this.
Well, hold your horses, Jim. It's only like 1 minute and 15 seconds in. There's still a lot that can happen, and it's still, of course, Okami that we saw last game that was able to find our way back as we now have that pass into midfield. SNW clearing it deep. Moggy past one. Raptic trying to get a touch on the target. It's not able to do so as Moggy is just able to freely take that one into the net himself.
It was just, there wasn't really a challenge. I mean, Reptic did try to get there, but I think him not getting there is what put Summit in trouble. And the last player back was always up against it in that position. And Okami, they do get one back. It looked like it was going to get particularly bad for them, but they have been able to weather a storm, even if they did go 2-0 down. But it is now a manageable position in the game for them, as it is in the corner. Wilkie looking to play into middle. Reptic does get there, but Nixo is in the way. And now Wilkie goes in for a shot. But again, it's saved, and now S&W having to delay the pass to Reptic. And Summit restore their 2-goal lead. And S&W doing such good work. It would have been so easy to just play the pass straight away, but instead takes a touch first and keeps Okami defense guessing.
Well, this is of course one way to get the game started, as it's now Summit in a good position. SMW actually trying to find the fourth, but the ball goes a little bit wide as it's now Vinci trying to get that counter going, does get that block, going all the way upfield with the ball. Even right now gets a touch in as Moggy tries to play it down to Nixo. Ball picked up by Wilkie, as it is now Nixo to the other side. Nobody ready sadly from his team to continue on that play.
Now, and they find themselves in the position that Summit did. Going two behind, getting one back, but then going back to a 2-goal deficit. But they have more time to work with. But they are struggling to get out of their own half, as Moggy does get a first touch and have a second, have a pass, but there is a block in the midfield. And now Vinci tries to take to the skies, but again, S&W this time is there to make sure that any Okami plays don't progress, and now they go down the other end, and it's S&W making it 4 for Summit, and all 3 Summit players have got themselves on the score sheet.
Yeah, and so far we're looking at a completely different game compared to the last 2 games. And is it from the side from Summit doing something different? Is it from the side from Okami playing completely different? I'll leave that up to you. I have my answers, and my answer would be both. But hey, at this point, it is of course more for Okami, like how can we get back? Can we find our momentum again? Because yeah, okay, we maybe slowed down a little bit. Maybe we started to be a little bit sluggish, but now is the moment, of course, to make it sure that it doesn't go on into the next game, and we, yeah, as they say, nip it in the butt quickly enough as the demo comes out. 5-1 being found from Summit. And they just now need to make sure that they don't burn out of all the rest of their goals for this series.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the previous game how they were, a few times they were falling up too close to each other, but now I think this game they started to be a bit more spaced out, making sure that they aren't clumped up, making sure a second man isn't overcommitting, is actually in the right position to follow up, and we see in terms of scoreline, it's working wonders. Shot does come in, but there is a save. I feel that's another perk of good second man positioning, as that even if the first man doesn't get the save, the second man is there to clean up. As Okami, they're just struggling to get out, as Moggy, and he does get the touch, but Reptic is there to send it straight back and gets a shot on, but saved by Vinci. And now S&W onto back, but onto Wilkie, and saved away by Vinci. And now it's 6-1. All 3 Summit players have 2 goals. The last touch, I think, was off an Okami player. It was actually off Nixo. In fact, it wasn't even going to target. Nixo might have actually been better off leaving it. But in all truth, the damage was already done.
Yeah, the damage already done. Game 3 slipping through their fingers. And now, of course, the question is, how will they regain and come back in Game 4? Okay, like you said, maybe this Team Summit didn't really need a timeout But after a game like this, it almost feels like Seri needs one, and they're up by 1 still after this game. It's just a hard one. I think the people in chat actually have been saying it the best. That so far the game basically feels panicky. There's nobody really with good control on the game, and as GCSI for example said, they need to calm down. And I think that's a good statement, because what we can see is now they're basically getting too desperate. They get one for the road, but in general what we need to look at is a little bit more cohesive play. And what we can do for that is positioning. Right, initially what Team Serene or Okami were doing really well is they were giving each other space, they were opening themselves up for a lot of passes, but at the moment the spacing has become that far away from one another that they cannot find each other, which is the polar opposite from Summit, which is therefore their biggest root of their offensive play.
Yeah, and as it looks like we're staring down the barrel of a 6-2 defeat in Game 3, well, I think it will be premature for them to use their timeout while they're still leading the series, but such a huge turnaround, not only in terms of a scoreline, but in terms of like the overall dynamics of the series. It feels like it's completely flipped on its head, whereas before Okami, they were 2-0 up in the series and they were cruising, but instead they've been dealt such a huge blow. And so despite being behind in the series, it feels like off the back of this game, it's them that's in the driving seat.
Yeah, right now they are definitely in control, but at the same time I think Okami can easily take this back. The most important thing is the thing that we already pointed out. They need that control back. They need to be able to be available for each other to continue to play, which was not present at all this game. So let's see Game 4. 5 new minutes again to try and prove themselves and get themselves towards that match point. Will they be able to do so, as it is Vinci already with initial pressure?
Yeah, and we saw last game plenty times how when Okami was stuck in their own half, they tried to get the ball out. I mean, they did get the first touch up, but there's no one there to follow. And Moggy getting her first goal. There's a good 50 initially. Had to follow up on his own touch because his teammates weren't there to support, and he's just there that little bit faster. And if your teammates aren't going to be there to support you, then you might as well do it yourself.
Moggy, absolutely crucial so far from the side from Okami, as he now has to try and turn that ball away. Now has a little bit of time, goes past one. Raptic has the last man, goes below, but Raptic has control. Will not be able to continue that 50, does not have the boost to follow it himself either, as it's now Wilkie giving away that ball. Down to Vinci. Moggy trying to find his teammate upfield, as it's now Nixo. Sadly enough, not able to connect with the person that was still upfield, and now a little bit of an overcommit from Vinci leaves Nixo in a vulnerable spot, able to get a beautiful touch there to make sure that control stays in that corner, not allowing Summit with a free chance at the net.
No, and Wilkie does get there to disrupt Vince's sidewall read, and well, there is a demo that could open things up, but Wilkie is back to cover, gets it beyond Moggy. Vince is the last man, does get the first touch, and now Reptic has been bumped, and it could open up now as Okami do get the second goal. And what a way to bounce back off the back of that drubbing in the previous game.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important, of course, to build that momentum, realize, okay, this game might be getting away from us. Let's focus on what we can do for the next game so that we're mentally prepared and can come out the gate swinging. And that's exactly what Okami is doing right now as Vinci turns it to the other side of the field. Gets a beautiful 50. Wilkie with the backflip. Nixo was playing on that touch, and now Wilkie with the shot on target. Coming out of nowhere due to the fact that everybody was playing for the hit on the ball, but the miss. Or well, was it maybe intentional? Was it a fake?
No, I don't think it was. I mean, sometimes it goes back to saying that it's so bad that it's good. And I think that rings true in this scenario, as Summit won't care. They could have another one, and it is! It's Wilkie, the blink of an eye from 2-0 to 2-2, and both coming in bizarre circumstances.
We're only 1 minute 40 in. it felt like a return to game 1 and 2. And then this happened, and now I feel like I do not know what it is. This is just game 4, and we're having double commits already. Oh god, this is not looking good. Come on, Okami. You started so great into this game. Find that form again. Get yourself buckled up. Don't double commit. Relax, as the chat is saying. And we might have an interesting series in our hand. Because if this keeps up, I think the opposite team, so Summit, will also not know what is going on and therefore start to panic themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's chaos. If you don't know what you're doing, then the opponents won't either, and it could actually work in your favour. Softer backboarders, Reptic think just a little bit too slow to evolve, and now Moggy has a beating of Wilkie, but Wilkie stands strong to make the save and gets the clearance. Retro with a follow-up touch on target, saved by Vinci. S&W is A1, therefore save it, saved by Nixo! And Okami hold on, and it's just over half a game gone, but Summit still building a new wave of pressure for S&W, saved again, this time by Vinci. And Okami, they keeping the shots out, but for how much longer can they do it?
Now Nixo, good first touch, sadly a little bit too far. This is now S&W that got a good touch. Raptic available. Vinci. I don't want to say this, Jam, but it feels like it's just at the moment a weak link in defense. He's being left as third most of the time, but every time he's just falling short, a little bit too late to the play, not in a good position to get a touch, not having the right boost amount to bail himself out, and it's basically been back-to-back situations where was he in a slightly better position in terms of boost, momentum, and spacing, he would have been able to make a world of difference.
Yeah, it does seem that way. And now, and instead they get in each other's way. It could open up for S&W, but Vinci dives across to make the save. And now Morgan in support for 2-on-2, but instead they take too long. Summit can clear their lines, and now Reptic trying to drop it down onto a backboard, but Nixo was there. Does get the second and third touch to get it further away, but instead it falls straight to Wilkie, but he's on 0 boost. Tries to play the pass. Reptic dove in, but 2 Okami players committed to her. If the net could be open, if S&W could get there, but no, instead it's saved by Nixo. And Summit, they kick it. While at 2-0 down, it looks like they were very much up against it, but now not only are they 3-2 up, I think they can consider themselves unfortunate to not be further ahead.
Yeah, so far it's been a great play from the side from Nixo to give Okami even a remote chance here in game 4, as we now have Nixo keeping the ball into the corner again. S&W up. Gets the one touch, follows through himself as it's now Mogi turning it to the side. Reptic getting the ball into midfield. Now Nixo with control. Tries to get it past Wilkie. He's able to do so. Goes past another one. Raptic is the last man back. Does get a touch. Does get the extension. Is able to beat Vinci out. But that would have been the moment that Okami needed to get that 3-3 as the shot comes out. And Mogi has to turn it to the side and give away possession.
Yeah, and now only 10 seconds. Okami are the ones needing last-ditch heroics as Nixo into middle, but cleared by S&W. But Moggy, he does have to fall, but he completely misses. And now it's Vinci's turn. Plays a pass to Nixo, but no one's there. And Summit, they're the ones who are having to hold on in a tightly contested game, and they're the ones who come out on top. And now the series is level at 2 games each.
Yeah, this is quite something. We saw Summit really climbing back from the dust there, and a very good starting Okami that suddenly just took away their claws. Like, imagine that you can have a lion and they grip their prey. That was Okami at the beginning, and then suddenly the lion became a kitty cat, and he was like, oh yeah, but I'm only play fighting, so I'm going to release my nails. And that's the moment that Summit basically bounced back.
Yeah, and I feel like, I think I mentioned before, like how they are just so good at following up on each other's touches. I mean, we saw that throughout. I mean, I feel like they're very. Not only did they deserve to, I felt the scoreline actually flatters Okami. I think they can consider themselves lucky to not have lost by a greater margin than what they did. And they have to sort it out. I think you mentioned that they're just not in the right position to follow up, and Summit are just all over them as a result. But Moggy does win that 50. It could be dangerous. All three Summit players clumped together, but Okami, they're just not quite able to capitalize. And now instead it's a 50. S&W. Vinci wins that one, but it goes into a corner and no one's there from Okami. Instead, Nix is just a little bit too late to that. I feel Okami, they just need to get that one step ahead, as Moggy tried for a bump, but Wilkie was able to dodge it. And still, we're yet to see a goal in the game 5.
Yeah, you have to see a goal, but of course it's completely normal with just 1 minute gone. Both teams are now back to trying to make sure that they don't make any mistakes. It's now Nixo, last man back, able to turn that ball to the side. Wilkie trying to find SNW. Ball goes slightly wide. Nixo immediately pressured. Goes past one. Good 50 setup as now Vinci tries to find the back of the net. Raptic with a good save. Does get the follow into midfield as SNW launches it all the way up the field. Now Vinci has a little bit of time, has space as Wilkie still is immediately there, but the 50 is going in their favor. Now Moggy, awkward position, a little bit too late. And this is the part that we were talking about. We need to see that aggression. Initially, when we were looking at Okami, they were gripping on. They were not letting Summit reach that halfway mark, and they were there every time to capitalize on the slowness of them. And now the script has completely flipped.
Yeah, and now they are trying to get one back, but that was just wide. And now S&W, he's one-on-one, but Nixo just about able to get back in time. As now, well, this could be dangerous. Moggy, it opens up for him. He does get the bump, and Okami get themselves level. They were potent on the counter-attack in game 1. It feels like they're having to go back to that very same playbook to rescue them in game 5.
Such a crucial play there coming out from Moggy, making sure that he can bum that last defender. Worst case scenario, still get a touch so it falls in front of the net, as we now have a kickoff goal. Okami, they're getting, well, last goal was skill. This one might be a little bit of luck, but sometimes you need it. Luck is also a factor in games, and this is why Okami is currently at 2-1 scoreline. They need to keep this up. We need to see a little bit more aggression from them if they want to keep their scoreline alive and get themselves in better positions.
Yeah, they do. And it doesn't matter how the goals come, just that matters. It's just that they go in. That's all that matters. And now Vinci in a good position. Wilkie trying to get it away, and Moggy forced to commit as last man. Doesn't win the challenge road, but Vinci was just about able to get back. And now Summit are looking quite shaky. Maybe a chance to Nixon to exploit that, but can't get past Reptic. Trying to find the pass. Vinci wins the challenge, and now trying to get it beyond Wilkie, but he doesn't. So it's Nixon's turn to clear off a backboard, but not a particularly good one. But Moggy trying to find Nixon. That's a dangerous ball. As Reptic tried to get there with a challenge, and now S&W onto a backboard straight down, but Vinci already there. And it's a good spell of pressure by Summit, but they just aren't able to get that final touch.
It's looking dangerous. Vinci, beautiful 50 right there to keep the ball out as it's now Muggy. High in the air, does not really have all too much boost. Does make 2 of the side from Summit commit as Vinci is able to keep that ball high. Boost is struggling. There was an open opportunity, but Nixo not able to get the third one. As we still have 1 minute and 45 seconds. The third one would really put them in a more comfortable position, but now Nixo, good first touch. Little boost to play with. Tries to keep it to the floor as Raptic is now there. Moggy, no reset. Sadly, good thing that we now have the reset indicator, because otherwise I would have said that he had one. As Raptic does get this demo. Good opportunity. Squishy save from Vinci, and suddenly both teams are both throwing the kitchen sink whenever they're attacking.
Yeah, and Summit, I mean, it's kind of getting to that point where they need to. They are a goal down, and now Vinci on the counter attack. Reptic keeps it out of a form shot. Reptic keeps it out as well. And Summit, they're still behind, but it could have been even worse were it not for Reptic's heroics. And now another shot comes in, and it's another save from Reptic. It's all happening in the last minute. but the resistance is finally broken as Summit get the third goal that they've been working so hard for.
They've been working really hard, they've been putting on the pressure, but both teams are now in a state where the game is a lot more volatile. I mean, we're going to that same way that the first two series are, but it is working in Okami's favor. Right now, I think it's the fact that as Summit is not expecting the side from Okami to be that aggressive, that is something that they still need to adjust to, as we now have Moggy. If coming through, Reptic passing back, SMW not really getting the first that he needs as he goes a little bit too quickly for that ball. Now Vinci blocked out, Nixo to the backboard, Vinci trying to get a bump in the process, double commit here on the defensive side, bump found as well, and this is giving a lot of opportunities here to the side from Okami.
Yeah, it's either quicker on the flops and they're also doing more out of possession. There's no one back for Summit. That fourth goal for Okami might have just settled game 5, although that being said, that double commit, you cannot do that. And to be fair, the game might have been lost regardless of that. But I think that kind of sums it up for Summit, just not going their way. Although Wilkie, it's not enough, and that's as good as it's got. Although Wilkie does get one back, but it's almost certainly too late in the day for it to be of any substance in this game.
This is a little bit unfortunate. We saw it there as well in the end. The side from Okami was getting a little bit, how do you say it? Maybe a little bit too complacent again. The game was already won, sure, but you kind of need to make sure that you keep your form for the next game, as we almost get a third one going in from the side from Summit, and they are really pushing now. Raptic calling that timeout, first timeout of the entire evening. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's very strange, considering that there was a 4-1 earlier in the day, and surprised there wasn't a timeout in that series, but we do see one in this series, and Okami, they are on the verge of dropping to a lower bracket. So if ever there was a time to call a timeout, it is now. So definitely a good use of it, and you feel that if it was Okami in that position where they had, and well, if it was Summit that had won game 5, and that'd be them winning 3 games all balance, you feel that Okami would have called their timeout, but instead it's Okami who win game 5, ending that run of back-to-back game wins to Summit. And so Summit, I feel like their timeout is, it might not necessarily be to talk things through, but more to kind of push the momentum back into their favour.
I mean, there's a lot of factors, of course, that go in, and that can be taken into account here. I think the main thing that we, of course, have to see is it's primarily for Summit. That is 100% sure, for the fact that we saw them struggling, we saw them needing to adapt to the situation that Okami was confronting them with that suddenly more aggressive kind of play style. They were not being able to get the first touches that they wanted. Every touch that they were taking was not really the control that they needed. So I think right now they're trying to find like, okay, what can we do to actually make this better? And at the same time, I think it's actually mutually beneficial from the side for Okami, because if you look at like game 1 and 2, they had a lot more ideas going on. Right, everything had some sort of a idea behind it. It was well communicated. We saw everybody working together, and that would have helped. But on the side from Summit, they had the same thing. Okami is now blocking them before they can even make that pass. So the question is, what can we do?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I know at this point it is a bit of a cop out, but like for bumps and demos, I mean, we saw one of the goals that Summit scored in game 1 came as a direct consequence of a bump, and we did see one of the goals from Okami. I think it was in game 4, a goal which came as a direct consequence of a bump on the last man. So it kind of feels like if all else fails, then trying to get the bump on the last man could be the way to break the deadlock. I feel that's something that both these teams should bear in mind in the last game, or even last 2 games of the series.
Yeah, and of course now it is very important for Summit to make sure that they win it back to back. Of course they have their timeout. I do not know. Okay, the good thing that I looked at the screen that of course Shedder is showing. I was about to say I do not know how long the timeout has been, but basically means the timeout is over now and we can get the players into the field again. 2 more games potentially, GM, and that would have been, yeah, the second Game 7 then of tonight.
I mean, Summit will be hoping that it even goes to Game 7, considering they're the ones that are 3-2 down in the series. Okami will be hoping to end it in 6. And now it's Reptic. Just gets caught under the ball there, but now Nixo Mogo trying to get there, but SW wins that race and finds a clearance, but Vinci's able to answer back straight away, but no one's there to follow up quickly enough, and it kind of feels like a bit of ping pong. Neither team's able to take full control. The follow-ups maybe aren't quite when they need to be, and it feels like there's kind of like a lack of rhythm and a real lack of harmony. This game feels like somewhat disjointed from both teams.
I mean, you say that, but at the same time, okay, yeah, there's a miss coming through from the side from Okami. I was about to say, Okami has been looking really promising with their first touches, really working well together. We even saw some leaves from one another already. Basically, through comms, one person saying that they had the ball, first person actually in front of them, leaving it in that situation, as we now have an 8-ball-ish kind of goal.
And there's no... Reptic was the only player back for Summit. That is a big problem. All three. I mean, it's also a wasted opportunity because, look, if you saw just how high all three Okami players were over the pitch, they were almost, all three of them were like almost in like the Summit box. But they do get a goal from kickoff. We don't have to worry about the what might have been anymore. After we just found ourselves level, Reptic finding the shot off the ceiling over Vinci, just under the bar, and Summit now they can start to breathe again.
It's kind of like we said, we need to make sure that the side from Okami doesn't leave up that pressure, and right there they just left all the space and all the time in the world for Reptic to work with, which led to a quick counter goal. Now Reptic, shot fired, Moggy goes high into the air, one-on-one against Wilkie, goes below him as SNW now gets a touch. But he's going to be immediately challenged from the side from Vinci, as now Reptic does get a good first touch. Not able to continue it as Nixo tries to find the bump. Reptic able to extend it past Moggy. As now the side from Summit is struggling on boost. They're trying to get that ball cleared, but it is now Nixo getting that ball on target. But Wilkie, goal line save to make sure that it stays 1-1.
Yeah, the ball was about, let's say, 30% over the line, and now all three players, they're so high up the pitch. Okami, can they get something for counter-attack? And they do! They saw what I saw, a Summit team that had overcommitted, pushed themselves way too high up the pitch, second man, third man, not in the positions they needed to be, and they saw the opportunity and they took it.
Really good capitalize here from the side from Moggy. Just being sure that he can get that ball past Reptic, taking a chance when it arrives, as we now have that ball going into midfield again. Vinci there, waiting a little bit, tries to get that ball past one Reptic. Now it's a good first touch, has the reset. Moggy, slow, turns that ball to the side. Wilkie there with the follow, as it now Nixo is on the backboard. Moggy does get the first touch, but that could have been a bit dangerous. SNW, demo to the side from Vinci. Reptic, shot. Could be in, yes it is. Reptic making sure it goes to 2-2 all by himself.
Yeah, and Vinci is, I mean, to be fair, it's a decent touch because it gets it past one, but then just not in the position to follow. But I mean, to be fair, Reptic did so well with the shot, able to just get it right across into that bottom far corner. So hard for Okami to keep it out. I feel like they feel like they had most of the goal covered, but Reptic just found that small portion of the goal which we just weren't able to get to. And I feel like this game, there's another twist in the tail as Wilkie very awkward in the charge, still able to get something against Vinci. Now S&W trying to have a pass, but Reptic has gone up for it into a corner, but straight to Vinci, and he's lucky to bring it out, but the ball's got away from him. The touch was too heavy, and it might be a bit of a double commit there, but it wasn't a full commit, so he didn't get punished. And I talked about the game being disjointed. I feel like there have been times where it has come together, but I think it's still somewhat of a lack of rhythm. I feel like Summit both of Summit's goals, it feels like it's come from like being technically proficient, and now Vinci is able to finish it off to that sustained pressure, and Summit just kind of like hid in their shell, and they just weren't able to get the follow-ups that they needed.
Yeah, and it was just inevitable. We saw it as well at the side from Okami is really doing well with that pressure play right there. Even Nixo buying a couple of seconds by getting that bump, making sure that the play slows down, as we now do have a double commit though. Moggy trying to extend to follow up with the pressure. Vinci in an awkward position, does play it high, able to turn it away. The follow through not coming on target as S&W misses, gets that ball high. Now Nixo does block the shot from Raptic, as Moggy needs to find his way back to the back post, not able to do so. Vinci able to turn the ball to the side with 35 seconds to go. It's now all or nothing for the side from Summit. Vinci keeps the pressure alive. Nixo, ball into the corner. SMW to the backboard. There we have Raptic waiting in the background. But Vinci coming in a critical moment. But Wilkie is still able to score it. With a... Whoa.
Well, he just rose up and dropped it straight down. Okami, they kind of sensed that it might happen, but they just weren't able to get there. 20 seconds left. Summit, they found it at the perfect time. They've given themselves every chance of rescuing the series, of keeping themselves alive in the upper bracket. It's Reptic. He scored the first 2 goals. Could he be the one to win it, to send it to Game 7 instead? It drops into overtime, and this Game 6, and ultimately this series, still hangs in the balance.
As we now have Raptic launching that ball to the other side. Vinci is able to find one double commit here on the side from Summit. That's the last thing that they need, as Nixo gets it past 1, gets it past 2, 1-on-1 against Raptic, because get the 50 to the other side as now Wilkie is waiting. Goes high. Blocked by Vinci immediately as SMW is not able to continue. Now it's Moggy. Raptic on the backboard. Does get the touch that he needs as Nixo now trying to find the boost. Does not spawn in time. Vinci able to bail him out as it's now Wilkie into the air. Nixo low. Able to get that touch in an awkward situation. Moggy now playing it all the way upfield, as it now means that SMW is able to catch control again. Flick past 1. Nixo right there. Ball to the backboard. Double commit once again coming out from the side from Summit. As it's Raptic. Gets blocked. SMW awkward. Able to get that touch. Ball goes into midfield once again. There we have Moggy. And it is continuous pressure here from the side from Okami as Moggy tries to get that bump on Raptic. Not able to do so. Nixo once again with a shot. Raptic once again with a save. And if there's one thing that Raptic is doing, he is making sure that Summit is still getting their chances as Nixo lashes it into the back of the net. All effort is in vain. Oh, this is such a painful moment for Raptic because he was doing so well on defense.
Yeah, I think there's a team bump which did them in right at the death. I mean, they were under the cosh for so long. It feels like they were never really able to get that big clearance out of defense that they needed, and so they're just forced into keeping the initial shots out, keep the shot out, just survive for the moment. They just couldn't get out, and it ultimately proved to be unsustainable. But it does mean that Okami stay in the upper bracket. They win the series in 6 games, meaning that neither of our predictions are correct.
I mean, hey, it's the effort that matters, right? We both said that we thought Okami was going to win. We got correct in that one. I'm going to take the win there. I'm always very bad at predicting games, so I have the mini game of like just choose the correct team and then see whatever. So it is what it is. But then at the same time, I think also one thing that we have to look at though is like how much Reptic did for Summit. Similarly to that, we had how much Moggy did for Okami though. Like the essential outplays, the essential pumps that were coming out, the amount of saves that he was making in all those games was the real reason why they were able to hang on for that long.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think like he is an experienced player. He has been in this league for many years now. He knows how it goes. He knows what to expect. He has had playoff runs at this level before, so he knows what to expect. I feel like that has played a factor as well in just guiding his teammates through, letting them know what to expect, and we'll have to see who the series MVP is. But I would not be surprised if it was him.
Yeah, I think we're both kind of waiting on that. I don't know if Shattered already knows, or maybe he's just waiting on somebody else still. No, okay, he's sending us to the playoff brackets. Okay, yeah, thank you, Shattered. Okay, so basically, GM, we're being force-fed what to do. So, first and foremost, of course, what happened today, right? We first had Atlakoya basically giving us a wild series, going down 1-3, them suddenly being able to claw back all the way to game 7 in overtime, win it, and then next series afterwards basically lose it to Carbo, who was definitely the stronger team of the two. And then now, of course, we have now had the series that we saw just now, Okami beating Summit 4-2, meaning that Okami stays in that upper bracket. Summit and Carbo will return, of course, on Saturday, where they will have to continue their lower bracket run.
Yeah, and it means that now the bracket has been filled out, and we get to see what we will see as Nefeli will be taking on Joel's, Okami taking on Darkness in the upper bracket, and as for the lower bracket, Legacy versus Brothers, and as you said, Carbo versus Summit. So that is what you can expect. Those are the teams that are left that still are in with a chance of winning the tier, and ultimately that is it for tonight in terms of the elite play-ins. The elite play-offs are Saturday, but we will be back tomorrow for coverage of the master tier. So I feel like unless there's anything else that you want to say before we go off.
Well, there's a couple of things, of course, that we have to say. First and foremost, I would like to confirm indeed that Shattered decided by himself Moggy was MVP, so that's first thing. Second thing, GM, of course, there's one reason to why we can even do this league in the first place, and it's due to all our lovely sponsors, of course, that we have. Without them, that would not be possible. So first and foremost, of course, we would like to shout them out again as well. We, of course, have Badass Studios, SpartanWare and trophi.ai that are really contributing to our league to make this sustainable, make this even possible to do this repeatedly multiple times a year. So really nice thank you to them and a good shout out as well. And at the same time, if we were all playing Rocket League, right? We should not beat around the bush. At the same time, sometimes there might be something in the item shop that we really would like. Then it's of course important that we use rsc-eu as a creator code, of course, in the item shop, because it also helps to sustain us even more. And that's an important thing to do. I don't know if you have any other shoutouts that you're thinking of at the moment that could be crucial.
Yeah, but I think you've just about covered everything that needs to be. As I mentioned, that is all for tonight, but there is a stream tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day after that. And for tomorrow, it will be the master play-ins, but if you're looking to see how Elite unfolds, then the playoffs will be on Saturday, both on the A and B streams. But like I said, tomorrow, master play-ins will be on this stream, so be sure to stick around for that.